Today we witness the end of an era. After 14 seasons, the Rolex Sports Car Series will contest its final event. And the championships are still very much up for grabs. Sit down and hang on. It's going to be a wild ride. After 9 months of the closest competition in series history, the closing chapter is about to be written in the final Rolex Sports Car Series season. It's been a year of preparation, discipline, agony, and for a select few, glory. And now it all comes down to this final round of 2013. Historic Lime Rock Park is center stage for this championship showdown. Will emerging superstar Jordan Taylor hold off veteran Scott Pruitt, who's looking for his 4th straight championship? Will Porsche hang on to their narrow lead in GT? It's championship time, and it's all or nothing right now on Fox Sports.
Maybe I'm a different breed. Maybe I'm a listening. So baby, I'm a lady.
Jordan Taylor takes the lead here. Look at Lally, he's looking for the first win of the year.
Jordan Taylor and Andy Lally. Victory at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Fox Sports and the Rolex Sports Car Series welcome you to the final round of the 2013 season. With championships on the line, it's championship weekend at Lime Rock Park. Absolutely perfect fall weather in the northwest corner of the state of Connecticut. Welcome, everyone. I'm Brian Till, along with Calvin Fish and Dorsey Schrader. Will bring you all the action today, and there is sure to be plenty of it, especially with 3 different championships in the Rolex Sports Car Series, and they are all on the line. In the Daytona Prototype Championship, Jordan Taylor and Max Angelelli lead Memo Rojas by Scott Pruitt by 8 points, and there are 5 teams in contention for that Daytona Prototype Championship.
Brian, this seemed to be a championship that no one wanted to win. No one was putting together that consistent run that would take them to the trophy. But then the number 10 Velocity Worldwide team seemed to step it up. 2 consecutive wins at Kansas and Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca has given them an 8-point lead. But amazingly, their closest challenger is once again Chip Ganassi Racing, over 4 straight championships. We'd written them off mid-season after a horrid spell of races, but they have a task that will be really tough here today, as the number 10 is unbeaten here at Lime Rock Park.
And in the GT points, it's Andy Lally and John Potter in their Porsche that hold a slim 4-point lead over Alessandro Balzan's Ferrari. John Edwards and Robin Liddell are only 7 points back from them in the Stevenson Camaro. Now, Lime Rock has not been very kind to the Porsche. It hasn't won here in a long time. John Edwards and Robin Liddell are reigning champions. Alongside them on the podium was Alessandro Balzan.
And in GX, Jim Norman leads the championship there. The wild card is the racetrack, but for more on championship stories, let's go to Chris Neville.
Brian, typically this time of year, we see the Ganassi group playing defense, but today they've got to play aggressive offense. Earlier today, Lime Rock qualifying, a track that has never played favor to this team. We saw Memo Rojas go sliding off into turn 1. Initial thoughts were it was a driver mistake. Then we learned that it was an engine failure. This is the 3rd BMW M-Power motor that failed since July. This team's confident that they've got a good engine in that car now. In fact, I just spoke with Tim Keene. He said today is going to be our finest hour.
Chip Ganassi sitting on the pit box waiting to get things going. You'll look at the field as they're lined up behind the pace car coming through what's known as West Bend and to the downhill to start the final event, not only of the season, but of the Rolex Sports Car Series. After 14 years, Dane Cameron, a great job in qualifying in the red, yellow, and black number 42 on pole. Outside, the number 5 of Christian Fittipaldi. His Corvette lined up looking for green. It waves, and we are racing at Lime Rock Park.
And look at this, the number 99 Red Dragon of John Fogarty, one of the championship contenders, slides it down to the inside. Angelelli right behind him. They're on the curbs.
And championship implications for Max Angelelli. They lead the championship in the number 10, the black and orange number 10.
Look at Justin Wilson there going argy-bargy through turn 3 with John Fogarty. He now holds the inside line for the right-hander.
This racetrack this morning is really slippery. We just had a race and a lot of it.
Fogarty's off. He's going to turn the car.
He has gone around here. I don't think he hit the wall.
Just dropped that left side off, lost grip, and turned the 99 around.
I was just talking about the racetrack being really slippery. We just had a race conclude. Everybody's stacked up here.
And for John Fogarty, he dodged a bullet big time. He and his Gainesco team, they're in the championship hunt, but he has dropped well back.
Look at the GT field. They're all bunched up there as they get through that chicane, trying to maneuver up the uphill.
On board the number 69 Ferrari, Emil Asentato, looking back into the GT field.
Wow, what
Man.
a shake-up at the start. Everybody's everywhere.
3 corners in, and there's already plenty of excitement. We said sit down and hold on. You can see why. Man, it is exciting. The running order will be in the hat at the top of the screen. You can watch that all race long, and there's the 46.
That was turned around up on the uphill, and a lot of damage to that diffuser at the bottom will take this car really slowly to the pits.
That's the new rear diffuser that this R8 has been.
Oh, a big wreck.
That's the championship leader.
That is
That's
Andy
the 44
Lally's
car.
car.
John Potter has been clouded on the exit of Big Bend. Look at the damage to our championship leader there over in the grass to the right, the gray and white Porsche.
Potter's championship is over.
Oh, no. For the 44, leading the championship as we came in by 4 points over Alessandro Balzan.
This is junk. It's no good for this car today.
It is done. The team, Magnus Racing, going to work, getting parts ready, but this is going to be a lengthy repair, significant suspension damage to the left front.
There's
no way.
That's not going to be fixed today. No, that's over.
Can you believe it? Chris.
Brian, listening to John Potter on the radio, he's telling the team front suspension damage on that car and both radiators. The team already headed back to the garage area where they can get more hands on that car. They have an entire front assembly ready to go, but this is going to be a lengthy stop, and they are out of this championship.
See if we can see what happens. Potter comes in the Porsche, and the Aston Martin
that
had
was
gone wide.
Aston had gone wide there. He got back on line. That's Richie Stanaway, the New Zealander, behind the wheel of the TRG Aston Martin. Gets back on line.
The Lotus,
gets into Potter.
Lotus nowhere to go.
A car.
This car. 94, right
damage.
rear knocked off that one. Look at the right rear suspension.
And for Richie Stanaway, a driver in his first race in the series in a car that has only run once, the Lotus damaged as well. Not involved in the championship, but has played a significant role in the outcome of the championship as John Potter tries to limp his car back. Andy Lally sitting on the box. Chris?
Yeah, we see Andy Lally sitting up here watching his car come back to pit lane. Andy, obviously an emotional end to the season. You guys were in such a good position for the championship.
Yeah, the guys have done an awesome job all season. John, the whole crew, everybody's been involved right to the end here. And it's unfortunate to end it like this, but you know, I got to say, I look back, we had a good season. We took the fight to them, and we had a pretty exciting time of it. So we'll see what we can do here. We'll assess the damage in the garage here and try and get back out there and finish the season.
Yeah, this team right now pretty much just try and finish the season, but as we said, the championship over for them.
So disappointing. Richie Stanaway in the 66 TRG Aston Martin at the top of your screen gets wide.
He's wide in the dust there at the top of the screen, that black and blue Aston Martin. He tries to get back online. Potter's already committed to the apex, had nowhere to go. Have to lay the blame there at the Aston Martin, don't you think, Dorsey?
Yeah, and then the stack-up occurred, and of course, with all those cars you can't see around or through, the Lotus makes monstrous contact, ending the championship for the 44.
Just incredibly disappointing as they work on the number 11, the Lotus in the GX category.
That will probably
Scott Dolehite on board.
Sure,
That car,
ruined too.
significantly damaged there. And before we ever finish 2 laps here, the championship complexion changes completely.
We knew this racetrack would be the wild card in the championship, but no one would have expected this so soon. Here's the onboard here from one of the Mazda GX machines, and there you see it. Lotus just sees that Porsche stranded in the middle of the racetrack really late, flouts in, does all that front-end damage.
And Tom Long drove right through the debris, but he had nowhere to go. He didn't connect with anything solid.
Multiple cars involved. The Turner Motorsports BMW is involved as well. Let's go to our other pit reporter, Darren Law.
Bill Auberland, you guys had a decent car, and it looks like Dalai Lama spun. Is the car done? It's a lot of damage on the right rear.
A lot of damage. Right rear, control arm, front's bad. He got caught up. That was innocent bystander stuff. But I guess he had a little mistake in the first lap, and we were just going to come up. Car was great all week. It was going to be fast. Shoot, it's one of those racing days. Next year, we'll come back and try it again. Hi to my dad at home. It's his birthday today, so wish I would have brought him a win, but not today.
Those guys had 3 wins this year. It's tough to see him go out.
Yeah, and they had an outside chance at this championship. They needed a lot of things to fall their way, so they're out. And significantly, guys, they may look at that 44 car. Remember, you've got to do 30 minutes to get points here today, so that may be one thing they're going to look at. Do we get this car fixed in the next 2 hours and 15 minutes, essentially, and get him out for 30 minutes and get some points of any kind?
John Potter walking back to his trailer. His championship has slipped away. You can see the disgust. Every corner, every lap, it counts. And it is counted big time here in the opening laps at Lime Rock Park. Back at Lime Rock Park, and the excitement has started already here in the final round of the 2013 season. It only took 2 laps for it to really unfold, and for Magnus Racing, for their championship to come unwound as John Potter involved in a big crash at the exit of turn 2. Very, very disappointing. We talk about this racetrack, how tight it is. At just over 1.5 miles in the northwest corner of Connecticut. Dorsey, take us around using Google Earth.
Well, I'll tell you, it's the busiest racetrack we run on. It's the tightest, one of the most fast racetracks as far as an average speed at 1.474 miles in length, a little bit under 1.5 miles, with 7 corners, all high speed. 1 left-hander only, that's significant. You set the car up to go right around here. It's a very slippery surface. We were trying to talk about that as we just saw a race run, and it was very slippery for those guys too. All right-hand corners, tough to pass. It's going to be a lot of what we just saw at the start of this race happen, I'm afraid.
I didn't expect to see it so soon, though. A lot of the corners here named. Only 1 left-hander. We call it the left-hander. We've got some great onboard cameras for you out of the number 3 Corvette Daytona prototype. From Mike Shank Racing, the number 6 Ford Riley, the number 90 Corvette from Spirit of Daytona, the number 69 AIM Ferrari, the 458 GT, and then in the GX category, the number 70 Mazda, the Mazda 6, the diesel-powered car. And man, this has thrown a wrench into people's championships, into people's strategy. A bullet dodged by this team right here, Gainesco. They'll take this caution and they'll take a pit stop early, Darren.
Yeah, these guys are actually doing this as a strategy play since they had the spin early on, which put them at the back of the pack. They might as well fuel up and try and stretch the fuel mileage a little longer.
What is happening at the end of pit lane? Got a little stacked up there. Saw the number 8, also the 60, the 99, and now the 8 letting them go by.
Yeah, because basically if you're in that fast lane and you're side by side, you have to give way to the car that was in the faster lane. So the 99 car should take the position ahead of the 8 car just to clean things up there.
Take a look. The 99 was the first bit of excitement that we had.
On board here with Justin Wilson. There we see, look at Fogarty really pushing the issue with Fittipaldi down into the brake zone. This is down into turn 1, big bend. And then let's follow on through here. They're going to go through this right hand. You see Fittipaldi looking for the lead. But look at Wilson. He's going to have a little bit of argy-bargy right here. On board with the 6 car. And watch right here.
A little contact there. Fogarty's got the lead here.
Then he sort of like comes out of this corner and gets a little bit wide. Gets over in the dirt there. We're on board with Justin right behind him. Fogarty's going to spin the 99 car. Watch this.
Kind of hooks to the outside, gets in the dirt there, and then around he goes.
So lucky he didn't get T-boned with that. Yeah, the traffic right behind him. Look at this.
Oh, goodness.
So close.
You have no idea what is in there.
It's a slippery racetrack. It's also, this is the first lap of the race. The tire pressures aren't up yet. The tire temps aren't up yet. Everybody was being ultra aggressive at the start there. It didn't pay off. This is a racetrack, guys, that rewards patience and really discipline. We didn't see that right there.
Well, the other thing is, though, Dorsey, looking at the big picture for Fogarty and Gurney, they got to go for it. They're 11 points out of the championship lead. They need to go for the win. They got to get the big points here today. Fogarty was just pushing really hard.
Well, you talk about the weather, the temperature, and the track temperature. Chris has more.
Yeah, Dorsey, you were saying we got a slick track today. We've got a beautiful day, mid-70s, but yesterday when all these teams were practicing, a cold, overcast day, the hottest the track temp got yesterday was in the mid-70s. Right now, just checked it, about 110. I talked with most of these teams right before the race, and they said they built a little bit wider setup window than they normally would because they want adjustability throughout this race.
One other thing about Lime Rock is it's a much shorter track. It's got a shorter pit space. A normal pit space for these teams is 25 feet. Today, they're only working within 22 feet. So you really want to think about that when you pit your car. If you can get in by yourself away from other guys, it might pay some dividend.
Or you know what else it has? A very short lap time. And Calvin,
Yes.
that is huge when it comes to strategy and when and where you're going to pit.
Well, just driving down pit lane will cost you about 25, 26 seconds with a 45-mile-an-hour speed limiter that you have coming down there versus the flat-out straightaway speed. So that's what it costs you, let alone servicing the car. So unless you are leading this race, the chances are if you make a pit stop, you'll be going down a full lap. And if you get a penalty of any kind, that will absolutely ruin your day.
Dane Cameron led from the pole, still out in front, even though we've had several laps of full course caution. Then Christian Fittipaldi, Justin Wilson, Max Angelelli. Remember, Angelelli, Jordan Taylor, they lead the championship. They sit fourth right now in the order, and right behind them, the number 5 of Bert Frizzell. That is the top 5 in Daytona prototype.
They dodged a bullet there because those are the sort of incidents with the 99 car spinning. That's what can happen to our championship leader. Angelelli missed all of that mess there coming out of turn 4, so that was really a big break for those teams. But what a statement Dane Cameron set this morning. We're talking about championship contenders. They're out of the championship, but he set a lap time half a second clear on this very short lap around here at Lime Rock Park. Just a sensational run for him in qualifying.
On a racetrack that was not good either. Let's put that up there. It was
damn.
cold. It was not as good as yesterday when the tracks were the first times were set.
And I like the strategy that the Salins team is playing for Dane Cameron. This is the same strategy that they used at Road America, and had it not been for a mechanical issue late in the race, they would have found victory lane.
I tell you what, Wayne Nonemaker's been doing a tremendous job too. So when he jumps in, he's not going to go backwards. He's been doing a great job as well.
I'm telling you, John Fogarty dodged the bullet. He's still got a car.
All right. Yeah, but the gun is reloaded because the green flag's coming back out. We're racing again, and Dane Cameron leads the field back to green.
Fittipaldi slots into second, then it's Wilson in third. There's Angelelli in that bright orange and black Velocity Worldwide car. We're on board with Ricky Taylor, the number 90 car. He is unbeaten here as well. We talked about the Velocity Worldwide team being unbeaten. Well, Ricky Taylor was driving that car for 3 years straight when they went to victory lane.
Here's the only left-hander I talked about. It's the tightest, slowest corner on the course. This is no name straightaway. And look at this. It's not straight at all. It's quite hard to drive up through here.
And that was where John Fogarty had his problem on the opening lap. Now through the chicane at the uphill.
Right here is where Ricky Taylor, he spun right here this morning when that track temperature is really cold. Well, like Chris Neville was talking about, he spun the car right there and really ruined their qualifying session, and that's why he started at the back of the pack here this afternoon.
Well, we understand that Richie Stanaway in the 66 Aston Martin from TRG will serve a stop and hold for 60 seconds for avoidable contact. But that is really no consolation for the 44 team of Magnus Racing, who led that championship. And for all intents and purposes, you got to believe they're done.
They killed the they killed the 44 more than likely. They killed the 11 more than likely.
I still think though, Dorsey, if there's any chance of getting that car fixed, remember to get some points on the board, get 30 minutes of running. There's 3 teams behind them, the 63, the 57, and the 69 should leap over them in the points today. But if those guys hit problems, the next guys are 31 and 32 points back. The 44 car have to look at that car. Is there any way they can get it back on track?
And we think of Lime Rock, such a short track. We think of it, if you're a NASCAR fan, this is the Bristol of road racing. Anything can and will happen. You've already seen it. Here's the battle for the lead in GT. John Edwards in his Stevenson Motorsports Camaro, the red and white 57, out in front of the 31, the Corvette of Lawson Auchenbach.
Again, reigning champions from last year is that car, the 57. They sat on top of the podium last year, and this 31 car is running really well today, too.
Yeah, both their drivers, both Rob Liddell and John Edwards, have won the race with various combinations over the last 3 years. Edwards won it 3 years ago, Rob won it 2 years ago, and they won it together last year. And now they are only 11 points out of the championship lead coming into this race, and the 44 car right now is out of the action. They are really going for the win here today and try and leapfrog over the 63 car of Lee Keane that currently sits in the 3rd spot.
Well, there it is right there. You see the leader. You were talking about the 57 car. That's the championship focus now. The 57 and the 3rd car in the line, the 63. But it was the 66 who brought about all of this chaos and confusion in GT. For more, here's Darren.
Hey guys, the Audi came in with a busted up diffuser, so they had to pull in pit lane and rip it off, which is going to make a big handling issue for those guys. They're gonna have a lot of lack of grip out there. They're saying the Aston Martin actually rammed into the back of them, and they're talking about penalizing them. So Butler right now is arguing with officials about the penalty.
Well, I'm not sure if the penalties for hitting the Audi or whether he just coming back online and causing the incident with the 44 car. So I didn't see where Stanaway may have got him to the back of the Audi, but we certainly saw the consequence of him trying to regain the racing line and pulling right in front of John Potter.
Well, here's the deal. Richie Stanaway, an Aston factory Martin, or factory Aston Martin driver, easy for me to say. And he's new to the series, new to this racetrack, and he needs to know to stay out of the championship. And he created a huge problem. But right now, no problems at all for John Edwards.
Well, Boris fans.
See, you got my disease.
Boris said fans, the one that drives his 31 Corvette, who are probably wondering why he's not here. He went over to England on business, and then on the way back in the United States, something didn't go right.
Didn't like the look of it.
They didn't like the look of it at all. They're still there. They kept him.
Right now, Lawson Aschenbach trying to get a run on the 57. Edwards down into turn one. It's two GM products versus each other, Camaro and Corvette. Through turn two, there's already been plenty of excitement, and there is plenty more to come because we've got 2 hours and 27+ minutes yet to go from Lime Rock Park. It's the Rolex Sports Car Series. Almost every lap here can go on the highlight reel. It's exciting. It's exciting for Dane Cameron right now because there he is in the yellow, red, and black 42. The Salins, BMW Riley leading here at Lime Rock Park over Christian Fittipaldi and then Justin Wilson. And it's interesting, Cameron, you said it, Calvin, he has no shot at the championship. But this is for bragging rights for this team. They felt robbed at Road America with a mechanical issue that took a victory away. They want to come back and win one before the season's over.
Yeah, they had the pole position there, and it was really a dominant day for that team. Wayne Nonamaker certainly did the job as well. And then in the last round at Master Raceway Laguna Seca, remember Dane put a pretty bold move on Westy, trying to go around the outside of the rainy curve, and Westy was having none on it, so it put him out in the dirt and lost him a chance of victory that day. But the boy is certainly on form right now. The team is certainly executing and ticking all of the boxes there with Katie Crawford at the helm engineering that car. So he's out to make a statement here today and finish off the season on a high. But Christian Fittipaldi, this Action Express team has been very impressive this year with a very consistent mid-season run and put them in contention.
Christian was 3 point there. It was actually the same 3.2 seconds as the gap between first and second as Katie Crawford calling the shots. I agree. Dane Cameron making a statement at the end of the season. That's where you want to be strong. Everybody notices when he goes up there and puts his car on pole and he runs as strong as he does, that guy's got tremendous talent.
Remember, we switched over to that 4.5-liter BMW engine, but the Salins team did not go that route. They maintained the 5-liter BMW power, and it's still giving them the power that's needed to put the car out front. We've got the Starworks team and the Ganassi boys running the new motor, the lighter weight 4.5-liter motor, but there still seems that there's some steam left in the old horse.
Well, and there's reliability. It's interesting to note, though, Cameron not in the championship hunt. Second place, Christian Fittipaldi is. Justin Wilson is not, and you're right on board with him. So it's like every other car on the racetrack right now, Daytona Prototype, is either in or out of the championship hunt. So Wilson looking to have a good run here for Mike Shank Racing, and you got to go back to fourth to that car, the number 10 Velocity Worldwide entry. And Max Angelelli having a good run right now, doing what he needs to do. Keep the car clean, Chris.
That's right, Brian, and right now we see Justin Wilson stretching a little bit of distance from the 10 car just a couple laps ago. Max Angelelli all over the gearbox of that 6 machine, and the team manager down here at 10 telling Max Angelelli, hey, we got to look at the big picture here, buddy. Don't worry about Justin Wilson. Memo Rojas, that's the car we're worrying about, and right now the 01 car all the way back in 9th out there. Actually, yeah, still in 9th right now, so at that point in time, Max Angelelli finally hearing the team and starting to put a little bit of distance between he and Justin Wilson.
Well, I mean, Max Angelelli's job, Dorsey, is to bring the car to Jordan Taylor in one piece without a mark on it to race it to the end.
And the fact that he's being told the right thing. There's only 2 cars that they're racing. It's the cars that are running for the lead. There's a 0 win. And let me tell you one thing about these BMW failures on this new engine that they're running. There's been 3 failures so far. All 3 are different. 2 of them might be related. The first one was a mapping issue. The second was a broken valve spring. This one's a dropped intake valve. The intake valve might be as a result of a valve spring as well. We don't know that, but an intake valve went and broke and went and got shoved up and through the throttle body, and that's what stuck the throttle. And I'm losing my voice because I've been yelling about these championships all week.
Tell you what, Fogarty here, though, is doing a great job of rebounding. Remember that spin that he had? You can see the dust all over the car. They hit pit lane, topped him up with fuel. He's gotten around Memo Rojas for position. So Fogarty right now runs in 8th, Rojas back to 9th.
Memo Rojas just needs to remain calm. They got to push forward, yes, but I'll go back to what Max Angelelli's job is. Memo Rojas' job is to get the car to Scott Pruitt, but he can't lose a lot of time on the racetrack.
Well, you talked about it. You've got to be patient around this racetrack, Dorsey, and that's what Memo Rojas is showing right now. But right now, I think there's a number of boxes that Simon Hodgson and the number 10 Velocity Worldwide team are trying to tick. And the first one is going to be getting to 30 minutes. We've got to do another 6 minutes of running. Then they'll score points here today. And then they can think about where are our closest challenges in this points chase. And then they'll play their game and execute from that point forward.
You know, but John Fogarty, we were just watching the 99 Gainesco Red Dragon. He got a slap in the face. He got a wake-up call on the first lap where he spun that car. But now he's got his momentum going again, and he needs a win. So I think he's got a different strategy. I think he's going all out now.
Absolutely. He's got nothing to lose in terms of, you know, if he doesn't go for it, he's going to walk away from the day, and they're not going to be the champion. So they're a two-time series champion. They haven't won in a while, and it's a long shot, but you never know. Lime Rock Park will throw you some curveballs.
Well, it'll throw you some curveballs, and remember, there are 3 different classes of cars out there right now: Daytona Prototypes, GT, and then GX. So you've already seen the prototypes working their way through traffic. It's a racetrack that's difficult to pass on, but when you put cars of different classes at varying speeds out there, it adds to the degree of difficulty. There's a look at the 99, the Red Dragon, the red Corvette, with Memo Rojas right behind in the 01 from Ganassi.
You have to have so much discipline here. You have to look way in front of where the car is that you're driving and try to analyze what all these other cars are doing around you. Don't get trapped.
Well, and you've already seen that another car can certainly impact, pardon the pun, your race, because that's exactly what happened to John Potter.
Well, this is a bull ring of a racetrack. I mean, you just got to be on your toes. Things are thrown at you. You never know what's going to happen next. And you just got to be looking ahead, like Dorsey said. But right now, Rojas is settled in. But that car had a lot of pace this morning. Before he had the off, he'd run up to second fastest in the qualifying session. Then he lost his lap due to causing a black flag. And then when they changed the motor, they had to go to the back. So this is really an indicator. You can have a fast race car. But right now, Rojas is running down in the 9th position with a fast race car underneath him. He can't do much with it right now.
Well, it's tight in the GT championship as well. Lee Keene driving the number 63, trying to help Alessandro Balzan to a GT championship, but a lot of nerves down there in the Scuderia Corsa camp. Darren?
Yeah, guys, actually, now that 44 is out and Alessandro Balzan has the lead for the championship, I went over to ask him if he'd like to talk about it and what his strategy is, and he looked up to me and said, no, can't talk. It's definitely stressful on him, and they've got their work ahead of them, and they have to think about their strategy. It's changed now that 44 is out.
Can't emphasize enough a 48-second lap. You're flying around this place. You're never slow anywhere, and you have to really be thinking in front of the game, way in front of the game, as a matter of fact. With all these cars on the racetrack, you have to play your cards to get them right.
You can gain or you can lose a tremendous amount in pit lane. One of the teams that knows how to play that strategy well is the 01 of Chip Ganassi Racing. Chris?
And Brian, Chip Ganassi on the stand this weekend. Chip, typically your team not having to come from behind in the final round. You guys playing a little bit different game today. What did you tell the team before the drop of the green?
You know, it's just a matter of doing the obvious things right. You know, it's a long race. And, you know, lots to happen here today. So we're just kind of biding our time, picking our points, not making any mistakes.
I see Scott Pruitt getting his helmet on already. You guys going to put him in the car a little bit earlier than normal?
That's to be decided by the team manager, not me.
And we see Tim Keene right next to him making that decision, watching the race, watching the numbers, and Scott Pruitt with his helmet and his gloves on, ready to get behind the wheel.
Yeah, and the key is another couple of minutes. They certainly want to give Memo a shot at the title as well. So Memo has to do his 30 minutes. We're only 2.5 minutes away from there. Pruitt's ready to go. And the thing is, with poor track position, sometimes that can work for you. If there's a yellow, they will definitely take it. So they can shake things up by strategy. But certainly these boys have had their problems here at Lime Rock Park. There's the Red Dragon involved, exiting turn 2. Forces Memo Rojas wide and just tore the splitter off this race car, Dorsey, back in 2010.
And that ruined that race for him. It took a long time to fix that car.
Now we'll fast forward to 2011.
Watch to the left. Rojas going for a threading the needle. That just wasn't going to work. Just poor execution, poor judgment at this stage of the game. You can see he got away with it there with the Auto House Camaro, seeing him coming and making way for him.
You see all the damage to the splitter there on the left front. So no, Lime Rock Park has not been kind to them. And then you got to think about the problems that they had this morning. Really no fault of the drivers, an engine-related issue.
There you see the results here, Brian. 7th, 7th, and 13th. That's hard to believe from a team that's pretty much won everywhere we visit on the calendar.
And they're going to need better than that today if they want to claim another championship. Right now, it's Dane Cameron out in front.
I love being a part of the Rolex series and everything we've achieved, and fingers crossed that even brighter future.
He is the first Daytona Prototype champion. The winning margin was less than 3 seconds.
Some great moments from the Rolex Sports Car Series. Hard to believe that this will be the final round after 14 seasons of great competition. It's championship weekend at Lime Rock. Championships yet to be decided. In the GT category, a little more wide open now than when we started today. Chris?
And Robin Liddell starting to get ready just in case the 57 dives to pit lane. Robin, we started the day, you guys were 11 points back. Problems with the 44. Does that change your guys' strategy at all?
Not at all. We came here to win this race. We know that to even have a chance of winning the championship, we need to win this race. How it looks with 20 minutes to go or 10 minutes to go, if we're still in with a shout, then we can make a decision from that point. But we've always come here with the expectation we had to win, and that's absolutely what our goal is.
The team brought a second car, the 75, with Jan Magnussen and Antonio Garcia. What are they going to do to help you guys win this championship?
Well, as much as they can within the scope of normal, reasonable driving and possibility. There's a lot of people all worried about that. They're not going to do anything stupid. They're both top professional guys. They're in a championship of their own. They're smart guys, but of course we've got a second car. We want them to help bolster our effort, and you know, to finish the Camaro program with 2 cars in GT would be pretty neat to get us both on the podium.
And Mike Johnson waving behind us, telling Robin Liddell, get ready, get ready.
Yeah, when you talk about Garcia and Mags, I mean, they're leading the American Le Mans Series Championship, 3 wins this year, and they're not going to do anything stupid. They're there to basically bolster the point gap between the 57 cars, should they win, and maybe that Ferrari that currently sits in 3rd.
That's what they need to do, is get the 75 in front of the 63 of Alessandro Balzan. Championship stories in play in Daytona Prototype as well, Darren.
Wayne, obviously you guys don't have to win this race to win the championship. What are the key factors you're focused on to try and get to the finish here and win it? I see Jordan's already got his helmet on.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, the race for the championship is obviously between us and Ganassi, and I'm sure Pruitt's getting ready for the car, and we're just putting Jordan in case a yellow comes in. So if a yellow comes, we need him to be ready to jump in the car.
All right, guys, it's based off of several different factors, 01 as well as overall position.
I tell you what, Jordan Taylor, what a job he has done this year. Talk about step up to the plate. I mean, at Kansas, holding off Pruitt for the final hour there, and then at this last round at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, guys like Scott Dixon, Dario Franchitti, and the rest of the gang behind him, and he just took off and made it happen, Dorsey. Very impressive.
He was so strong in that restart, you know, he had Dixon right behind him, and that really shows what you're made out of.
When you talk about Wayne Taylor and his team Velocity Worldwide this year, you have to go back to 2005. And 2005 is the last time the 10 was painted black, and guess what?
Yeah,
that's when they won the championship, so maybe that's a good omen for them. Still a long way to go. Let's check back in with Chris.
Yeah, a long way to go, and the 44 team not giving up yet. We can see a lot of damaged parts down here. All the radiators from the front end of this Porsche. The team still working aggressively to try and get this car back on track. Just checked in with the team. They said probably another 30 to 40 minutes before the car will be back on track.
And they have to do this. If they can just get the car back out there and trundle around, get 30 minutes on the board, which will score some points today, it would take a miracle at this stage. But if 3 of those other teams, the 57, the 63, and the 69, all had dramas, maybe that could still come their way. You never know.
Looking at that front bulkhead, I was going to telestrate it, but we're on a different shot right now. Anyway, they couldn't even have anything to bolt to.
For the lead.
Corvette goes around the inside, takes the lead. They were tie-strapping that whole front end together, which is what they have to do.
What a job by Lawson Archenbach, just jumping in this wheeling Corvette and taking the car to the front. So Edwards slips back a little bit. Now he's under pressure. That's Lee Keane looking to the inside. These are the 2 guys really in the fight for the GT Championship right now.
And this is where the 57 has to keep that car behind him. John Edwards needs to keep that red 63 Ferrari behind him. And somewhat surprised, a little bit, I guess I should say, that Lawson Aschenbach was kind of allowed to go by. No team orders because it's two different teams, but they want General Motors to win or move up in the Manufacturers Championship. You'd like to have a General Motors driver win the Drivers' Championship, and that doesn't do John Edwards any favor.
No, you have to wonder how it happened. Maybe there's some traffic, and really Lawson had no option. Here we see Lee Keen getting a run, gets around that Audi R8 from 4-line. Good to see that car back on track after the early incident, but just got to play it out. I mean, there's a long, long way to go. I mean, tire strategy is key, keeping the tires underneath you for a long run here. These cars can run almost an hour here at Lime Rock Park, so you can't afford to burn those Continental tires off too quickly.
Lee Keen with the Ferrari up on top of the curb all the way around Big Bend, and it's stuck. That car's got a lot of grip.
One of the things that the Ferrari is known for is being well balanced and conserving tires, Chris.
Yeah, that Ferrari well-balanced and conserving tires, but the 57 Stevenson Camaro, that car starting to go off. Just checked in with Mike Johnson when they gave up the lead. He said that car going off at the back end, not just the drive off the corner, but the high-speed stuff right through the center.
Tire degradation here is really big because of all the right-hand corners. Plus, then you add to that the elevation change. You just saw the downhill. Well, you come down that downhill with the right-hand corner, you load those left-side tires. The uphill's also a right-hander does the same thing.
One thing to look out for when we do get to the pit stop schedule where guys start to hit pit lane is whether they just take left-side tires or maybe 3 tires. Any fraction of a second that you can save on pit lane will be critical here on this short lap. So look for different tire strategies here today.
Look how tough it is to pass right now. You got 2 of the prototypes trying to go around these GT guys fighting for position. There's just hardly any room here.
63 pinned to the outside there by the number 90 Daytona prototype. And this is where it can all go wrong. Everybody's racing for their spot. Multi-class racing, this is the challenge.
You got to play well together. I mean, that's what it gets down to.
Taylor's done a nice job there as kind of climbed his way back through this field. He's now up to 6th spot with a good race car underneath him. Richard Westbrook finished 2nd here last year. His teammate, and Ricky won it with Max Angelelli.
With some good fortune for John Edwards. Those Daytona prototypes have worked in there and separated the gap a little bit between Edwards and Lee Keen in that 63 Ferrari. But still a long way to go, and championships still very much up in the air from Lime Rock Park, the Rolex Sports Car Series.
I think we will have a bright future for the fans. The fans, I know they already enjoy Grand Am. All I can tell them is going to be a lot better.
Well done, Robert Liddell and Andrew Davis. They win GT.
Oh, no! Look at this. Here we're going. They're bumping at it.
5 cars around. Oh, big impact there.
Hayward, Barbosa, they win the season finale.
Now just some more great memories from the past 14 years of Rolex Sports Car Series competition. There's a look at the number 42 from Team Salem, passing their teammate Joe Nonamaker in the 43, but for Dane Cameron in the 42, pole position, and has led from the drop of the green, going past the number 75 of Antonio Garcia in the GT category, and that is that second car for Stevenson Motorsports that they hope will have some kind of an impact on their championship hopes in GT.
Well, certainly this Salen's team have got a great car underneath Dane Cameron here today. He's taking it to the front and he's maintaining the lap times, and he's stretching the lead a little bit over Christian Fittipaldi. It's now 6.5 seconds, and when you got that kind of buffer around this racetrack, Dorsey, it allows you to be patient in traffic, pick where you're going to make your moves, don't rush anything, and he's just having a great run so far today.
I think that's the trick around this place, really, is to get in your rhythm and to run off easy laps. Don't make yourself look like a hero. Just take everything as it comes to you. Just make those passes down the straightaway. Quit trying to be so quick in the corner.
Here comes Lee Keen, though. Look at what a run he's got there through the downhill. Edwards is hanging on. Mike Johnson said the red tires are going away from him a little bit. He's doing a great job just keeping it nice and clean.
That's a strong part of the Ferrari. I think of anything else, it's very well balanced. It doesn't run the front or the rear off one more than the other. It stays very equal and neutral under you.
Well, right now, this is a fight for the championship in GT, and Lee Keen needs to be a bit patient, but one championship has already been settled. Let's go to Darren.
Jim Norman, you've done it. You finally, the season's done for you. I mean, you've got the race to finish, but you've clinched the championship in the first ever GX class here.
Yeah, it's been a great year for us. Battling those factory Mazdas, you know, we're a small team battling the factory guys. But it's been a great year. Got a great teammate. Spencer's an amazing driver and a great coach. So we're really proud and pleased to be the first champions of this year.
Great job. First time for this class and first time for a championship. Nice one.
Thanks. Been a great year. Thanks.
Congratulations to Jim Norman. Man, this battle heating up in GT. Lee Keen all over the back of John Edwards, but Scuderia Corsa also bringing two guns to the fight this weekend. Right behind the 63 is the 64, driven this weekend by Johannes van Overbeek and Jeff Westphal. Westphal behind the wheel right now. They've done what Stevenson has done and tried to bring another car to kind of help get in between and steal points from the other competitors.
Yeah, they want to buffer those points, and they brought in two guys who have experience here in Ferraris at this racetrack. Jeff Westphal certainly has done a great job for this team. Earlier in the year, ran alongside Alessandro Balzan, brought him back in for this final race, and Johannes van Overbeek ran with Balzan to a podium run here last year. So two really good guys. They're currently sitting there in the fourth spot. They can be a factor. Here we see the points as they run, Dawson. We know you absolutely love these scenarios.
I'm going to switch over to the fact that I think Bach is doing an absolutely stellar job of staying where he's at in the lead. He's got Lee Keen trying the outside now, guys, around Big Bend.
He's just trying to work him. If you can get right alongside him, that then puts you on the inside for this next left-hander. He can't quite get far enough alongside John Edwards to make that move stick, but that's obviously what he's thinking about.
Lawson Aschenbach pulling away 6 seconds ahead of this battle for second, and for John Edwards, he knows he needs to stay there on board the number 6, the Daytona prototype of Justin Wilson. Mike Shank Racing shows you the closing speed and just how quickly the prototypes can get through.
You see all the dirt on the track back there?
A lot of dirt there, and Wilson has got around Christian Fittipaldi. We're looking at the blue and white Daytona prototype. Fittipaldi having problems there. Now Angelelli's really close to him.
Watch this. This is where.
Yeah, this is Fittipaldi there. Oh, mistake there through the chicane.
Okay, and with all that smoke out the back, that could be residual smoke or it could be overheating. I'm not sure which it is.
Now Christian Fittipaldi trying to work his way past GT.
Yeah, you see the grill is all...
Look underneath the back. It's really spitting fluid. And
they need to bring him in, guys. I think they could bring him in now and probably do it on just one more stop. They can't afford to overheat this Chevy engine right now.
No, you've got to take your medicine. You made a mistake, but don't make it worse. They'll have telemetry that shows them the temperatures.
Yeah, he's got
completely
no air.
plugged. The 5 is going to have to come to
he's
pit
blowing
road.
water everywhere.
Chris?
Well, down here at Action Express, Elton Sawyer just mouthed running warm to me. Running warm, and João Barbosa just getting his helmet on. So they're going to do a driver change. They're going to do a full stop here, bring that car in, and telling the crew members, be sure to clean that grill off, possibly blow some air down into the radiator. Hopefully, if they get that radiator clean, that car will start cooling off.
Yeah, they're close. I mean, they're probably just outside their field. They have to come. They have to come. They're coming your way, Chris. You'll see the radiator is fully packed with grass. They couldn't afford to run that Chevy motor any longer without the risk of overheating it.
Yeah, I don't think it was running warm. I think the temperature was about to skyrocket. And Christian Fittipaldi make the best of a bad situation.
Boy, you can see the front grille on this car just packed in with grass. So this team going to do a full stop, 4 Continental tires, get João Barbosa behind the wheel. Fuel right there, the team member up front doing the front tire change, just rubbed all that grass off the grill. We're going to see if they maybe get an air hose over here and try and blow that radiator out too. But boy, this 5 car just smoking away down here.
Well, not only does it plug the radiator, but it also plugs the air openings for the front brake. So everything in the front end of the car gets hot. That's where the radiator is. And the brake ducts get closed off. And you just have to take your medicine and try to fix the problem that you created.
You usually get a brake fire when you come in like that. As soon as they pull the wheels off and all that grass gets air around it, usually catches fire. But you're right, you got to get it taken care of right away.
Let's get back down to Chris.
Well, Christian Fittipaldi quickly came over the wall, took his helmet off, and now he's up talking with the crew here. And Christian's got a lot of dirt on his suit here. He looks like Dorsey after an IROC race, I think back in the 80s or something. Christian, what happened there with the 5 car? Obviously, you went off the racetrack.
Yes, I braked too late, and I went off. Like, we've been struggling with a lot of oversteer since the beginning of the race, and I was driving on the limit. And I guess I overcooked it a little bit and went a little bit straight, but at least we're in our window. The car is fine. Supposedly it's not going to affect us anyway.
That's one thing that I've really heard a lot of drivers talking about on the radio is loose conditions out there. Is that indicative of the heat we're seeing today?
It's possible because we pretty much ran in cool weather. Like, we qualified in extremely cool temperatures this morning, so now it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, guys, I think we're going to see lots of changes on these stops that are going to start happening.
Well, you heard him say, at least we're in our window. That means they were in the area where they were going to do a normal stop anyway. So like I said, take your medicine, make the best of a bad situation, and move on. That's exactly what the Action Express team has done, and that is what Dane Cameron is doing. He's had no bad situations. It's been clean sailing all day long for our pole sitter. We'll be back. Lime Rock Park in the little village of Lime Rock, and what a great racetrack this has been for years. Skip Barber and his crew have improved this facility year after year, and the problems continue for the 5-car. Christian Fittipaldi was out, Joao Barbosa got in, but it didn't last long, Chris.
No, it didn't. That team now pushing that car back into the paddock. Joao Barbosa took it out on the track for about 1 lap, called back to the team, said he had lost oil pressure, still said the temperature was spiking. As he came into pit lane, he said that engine let go. They took a quick look in the engine bay, just covered in oil in there. So their day, their championship, their season, it's over.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. When I saw it, it was really throwing a lot of oil and water up the back. With that radiator clogged up, it just got too hot and fried itself.
Dane Cameron continuing to lead, but a new second place contender, Justin Wilson from Mike Shank Racing, has moved his number 6, the Ford Riley, into second place. You're right on board with Justin. It's been since 2012, the Rolex 24, the last time a Mike Shank Racing entry won, but they are always quick. Justin Wilson really helping to tutor Gustavo Jacobin that he shares that car with, and Shank always putting out cars that are absolutely spectacularly turned out.
For both these drivers, their first visit here to Lime Rock Park, as is for a few of the other guys in the field. Bourdais, Sarrazin, for example, they haven't visited this track before, and it's an eye-opener, Dorsey. It's a bull ring of a racetrack, and I know a number of the guys, when they went for the track walk here on Thursday, said, oh boy, this is an eye-opener. I can't wait to get out there, but it looks really hairy, and it is. You can see the speed. It's like a high-speed oval, but with some jinks and turns to it as well.
Let's take a look and ride on board for a lap. This is your start-finish coming up ahead, the start of your lap. This is the longest straightaway. It's not very long at all, as you'll see in a moment.
It's the Sam Posey Straight, recently named this year.
Turn 1's called Big Bend. You turn in here, it's actually a 180-degree corner. We call it 2 corners, but it's called Big Bend. 2 apexes, there's your second. Coming up to the only left-hander in the entire race surface. It's the slowest corner too, and it's not slow, as you can tell.
Because of that only having really one left-hander, we've got the chicane, of course, that they're coming up to in a moment, but because of predominantly right-hand turns, they run an asymmetric setup on the race cars to mainly just try and make the car turn to the right really, really well. They'll give up the little bit here and through that left-hander, Dorsey, just to really maximize the grip through these other corners.
Up ahead, West Bend at about 4:30 in the afternoon. This is not pleasant to go through with the sun in your face.
I'll tell you the other thing I'm seeing, a lot of spectators. The fans have really turned out this weekend. It is a great crowd on hand as Justin Wilson completes a lap. Both the 6 and the 60 absolutely beautifully turned out. This battle has not let up at all. Lee Keen still glued in his number 63 Ferrari to the back of the 57 Camaro. John Edwards still managing to hold Keen off, but Jeff Westphal is actually being shown as moving through to second place on timing and scoring.
Yeah, he's passed both of these guys, who has a great run. Jeff Westphal, he's really done a tremendous job in taking the 64 Ferrari up to the second spot, and that's ideal. That's taken the big points away from the 57. We're on board here again with Wilson as he encounters this GT battle.
And this is what, quite honestly, Edwards likes to see right now. He's got that car in between. It gives him just a little breathing room, at least for a corner or two.
Yeah. I mean, Keen hasn't had the best run of it in traffic. We're seeing him really lose a lot of time throughout the course of the day in terms of the DPs get between he and John Edwards. But he realizes they're really in good shape here. See a lot of dust there off that downhill as Wilson hits pit lane for his first pit stop of the day. As Keen now gets to the inside. We get to the inside line. Not quite close enough. Edwards again closes the door.
When they get stuck in traffic, when they lose their momentum, the advantage goes to the Chevrolet with the V8. The Ferrari, on the other hand, has got a better momentum kind of a situation.
And if they finish like they are right now, Dorsey, one behind the other, that would still give the championship.
Oh, he's going to get him right here.
Got him right there. No way for Edwards to defend that one. He was there, had the position. They keep it clean.
Now, what can Lee Keen do as the number 10 begins to work through the Velocity Worldwide Corvette? Past the 57, we understand Max Angelelli will pit in about 5 laps, but Keen now sets sail and tries to put some distance between himself and the 57 of Edwards. Right behind Edwards now, I believe it's the team car, the 75.
Lee Keen did a really good job of setting that up as we see the leader overall, Dane Cameron, on pit lane.
All right, leaders in. They're doing a driver change. And talking with Katie Crawford, she said the thing's been very, very steady. They're very happy with the handling. Dane basically said that it's getting a little loose throughout the stint, but nothing more than they would expect. So they're really making no changes to the car, just a standard 4-tire stop. The one thing I am noticing, every car that comes in, the radiators are loaded with a lot of grass. Guys,
problem for the 57
front,
off down in turn 1. Yeah, I
Could be-
saw damage to the left front tire or wheel, it looked like.
Something broke. I think it's down in the brake zone of turn 1. He's gone straight down there.
Wonder if
Flat
it
tire.
was
Left front.
Yeah, left front is definitely flat. They lost some air pressure anyway, so he's just got to try and struggle his way back. Let's take a look at the replay here, down in the brake zone.
See if he locks
It'll be
it up.
Garcia right behind. Yeah, you see it right
that was
there.
something.
It blows as soon or it
Already
blows
gone.
and
It
breaks
was
as soon.
gone. Yeah, it was totally gone. He had a low puncture, and when he got down the brake zone, threw the brakes on, it just locked that left front down completely.
Remember, there'd be a lot of debris out there on the racetrack. We saw those cars scraping their way around after those first 2 or 3 laps. We had all those incidents, a lot of bodywork potentially out there. Can cut down one of these tires.
Yeah, that's surely what happened. You saw as soon as he touched that brake pedal, it slammed the front down.
Lee Keene now moves to second. Jeff Westphal leads in GT. Chris?
Yeah, I just checked in with Mike Johnson. He said they don't know what's going on with that car. John Edwards saying over the radio, I just touched the brake pedal and it locked up. Felt like the front came down. So Mike Johnson telling the crew, as soon as we get the tires off that car, be sure to check the suspension.
Yeah, he had a slow puncture is what happened. I mean, he just didn't know it until he got on that brake. But you could tell as soon as he touched it down there and loaded that nose, it just slammed that left front down.
Well, think about all the debris left
Yeah, sure.
potentially on the racetrack from the incidents that we saw earlier, even Christian Fittipaldi off there at the chicane.
Yeah, there's every reason to get a cut tire today.
There's a real art to getting one of these cars back at the speed where you don't lose too much time, but you don't do any further damage to the race car. So Edwards hits pit lane. They'll probably do a driver change here, I would think. Get Liddell behind the wheel, but let's wait and see if there's any suspension damage to the 57 machine. Chris is on the spot.
And we can see John Edwards bringing the car slowly into pit lane, locking up that left front, that Continental tire. Really not much left of it here. He was talking with Mike Johnson on the radio all the way around the racetrack, and you see this crew member kind of moving the wheel back and forth, seeing if there's anything in the suspension that he can feel right now. But taking a look in there, didn't really see any damage to the suspension, so it could have just been lockup in this tire letting go. But this team obviously trying to get him back out there and back in this GT fight for the championship. Darren?
Dane Cameron, you guys have had a great run so far this weekend. You put it on pole by actually quite a bit. You've led every lap of the race. The car feels good, obviously.
Yeah, everything's going well. This race here at Lime Rock's just a matter of trying to manage the traffic as best you can. So trying to get a feel for that. We have a good car, so just trying to be smart and not take any risks if we don't have to. A little bit hard on the rear tires, it seems like, on a long run like that, but I think we definitely have pace and we were just able to kind of sneak away. So picture perfect first stint. So we got Wayne in now, and hopefully he'll give us exactly what he did at Road America, and we'll see what happens.
So are you getting back in the car for the final stint?
Yeah, well, the idea is something pretty similar to Road America, except a little different ending.
That sounds good.
1 hour and 45 minutes left, and for Mike Johnson and his Stevenson Motorsport team, they do have time. If they can play the strategy and they get some yellows, they may have time to play their cards, get back on the lead lap in GT, and get back in the hunt for the championship. So it's not over yet.
Absolutely. No, they've just got to keep digging. They're not in the ideal spot right now. They need to get big points here today, but they're certainly not out of the frame in terms of the championship. Here we see the 69 car. They're another contender. Anthony Lazzaro going to take over from a 2-time GT champion. That's Emil Asentado jumping out. He's had a tremendous first stint here. Everyone said the Ferrari would be quick at this joint. That certainly has been today.
No surprise to anybody with the balance. These Ferraris are really good. Lime Rock with all these right-hand corners really loads that left side. You need a car that's balanced pretty well.
0-1 now on pit road after the problems they had in qualifying. They're having a pretty decent run here, Chris.
Yeah, having a pretty decent run, and really all the teams that I've checked in with, everybody out there saying they've lost the grip at the rear, the 01, that car a bit too tight. They've been working the bars in that car all race, trying to get that front end to grip the racetrack a little bit more. Tim Keene telling me they're probably going to take a little bit of wicker off that rear ring, trying to take some air out. And you see that wicker change right now, trying to take some air off the back of that car. Scott Pruitt behind the wheel.
That we know Scott Pruitt can handle a slightly loose race car.
It's Tim Keene on the radio. Go, 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 go. Now our leader is in as the 0-1 pulls away. The 10 is there.
Our race leader and also our championship leading team right now, the 10 car, Max Angelelli handing over to Jordan Taylor. Getting a little bit of grass up on the grill of this car. So obviously a lot of debris out on that racetrack. I'm sure the crew is going to wipe that grass away. Going to do 4 Continental tires, full load of Sunoco race fuel. And this is the only team in pit lane. They've told me they've got a great balance of the race car.
Problem with the left front, Chris. There's a problem on the left front. Fuel is still going in. I don't think it cost them any time, but could have been costly. They get away with it.
Yeah, I saw that, Calvin. A little bit long on that left front. I think it probably lost a second or two as the fueler pulled away just before they dropped the car.
And that is where the crew members become such an important part of the outcome. Don't panic, do your job, get the car back on track. That's what they've done. And the 10 back underway. Championship still alive at Lime Rock. Some great names and faces from the past at Lime Rock Park. John Fitch, Paul Newman, Parnelli Jones. His hair still looks just like that. Skip Barber and Sam Posey, his wife Ellen. Great time at their house last night, living here in the area. Great stories, great fun. You see the Sam Posey straight, and there underneath the bridge it says Sam Posey straight. The number 44 Magnus Racing Porsche is back out, and that could put him back in the championship, Calvin.
It would take a lot for this to happen, but if they run around here and get 30 minutes on the board, they're currently listed as 13th position. If they got 13th place points, that would mean for Edwards and Liddell to win the championship, they'd have to finish on the podium. For Balzan, the job is a little bit easier. They need to finish in 8th spot, so it's still wide open. By the fact these guys that dug deep, got the car back out there, that keeps them in with an outside chance at this championship still.
Teams that win championships, the drivers or the quarterbacks, they get all the credit and the blame, of course, but the teams are the ones who really get it done. Let's head back down to the pit and Chris.
Yeah, well, that championship's going to be a lot harder to win today for John Edwards and Robin Liddell. John, we saw you go off down in turn 1 there. Really big lockup on the left front. What happened with the 57?
Well, we're not really sure what happened with the lockup. I mean, something definitely happened. We don't know what, if it was, you know, the tire wasn't punctured or anything like that, so it's too early to say exactly what happened, but I was on light braking, initial braking, and the tire immediately locked up, so that was disappointing, but already we had some contact in traffic with Fogarty on 2 separate occasions. So that was disappointing because the car was already a little bent up. You know, normally he's a guy you can run clean with, but today we got bent up, and today's the last day that we needed it to happen.
Yeah, that 99 car that he had contact with, they're in pit lane.
Yeah, they're coming in and doing a routine stop here, changing tires and fueling up and talking with the team. The big issue here is with the heat, the tire pressure comes up. And it's not so much they've lost grip because of the tires are wearing out. They're getting hot, they're over-pressuring, so their adjustments are in the actual tire pressures for this next stint.
So routine stop for the 99. They'll get back out. That's Gustavo Jacquemin in the Mike Shank Racing entry into the lead. Justin Wilson had come in, handed over to his young teammate, and Jacquemin now running out front in the number 6. Here's the problem for John Edwards earlier.
You can see it. I mean, I think that he'd already lost tire pressure maybe a little bit. And you can see as he gets down into the brake zone, he's flat spotted the tire certainly, but there's pretty much zero pressure in that left front. Did a great job of turning it around and getting it back to pit lane with not a lot of bodywork damage. That was a significant factor there. So they're in a big hole. They got to keep digging deep. They need a few things to help them out now, though.
We talk about the short lap, and I'm surprised that we've only had the 1 full course caution, because on a racetrack like this, it's not at all uncommon to have several, and you can use those cautions if you're in the right spot on the racetrack to regain laps and get back into position to make a charge at the end.
Good point. I mean, normally you get more yellows here, but with just that one, if you're a lap down and you're looking for help, you're not getting it.
Eric Curran now has elevated himself to the lead in the GT category in the number 31 Corvette. And the 99 had a good run as well, Darren.
John, you guys had a pretty good run out there, and obviously your only shot here at the championship is to win this race. What happened in that first stint there? You luckily didn't hit anything on that first spin.
Yeah, you know, I just lost it. We set up the car to turn around this place. You definitely wanted to, but on colder tires, not tires up to pressure, it just got away from me. So my bad, but luckily no damage to the 99 Gainesco Auto Insurance, the Red Dragon. But the car was a handful. I was rarely pointing the wheel where the car was headed. So we'll see. Maybe they made an adjustment tire pressure wise. I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to talk to the guys. But yeah, we're out here to win it.
Yeah, they did. They told me they made an adjustment tire pressure-wise. You think that's going to be enough to get enough grip out of it?
We'll see. I mean, I don't know where mine came in at, so could be. It's obviously little things. And setup, you know, this place being essentially an oval, you can get it to work a little bit better, you know, half a tenth in each corner. The car's right there again, so hopefully we have that.
All right, guys, they're going for the win. That's their only option.
Well, you never want to spin onto No Name Straight, but you certainly don't want to spin when the rest of the pack is coming right behind you.
Well, it's amazing that he got all the way around without getting collected or without hitting anything. Like I say earlier in the show, it's a slap in the face, and it's you know, it's time for you to get back up on the wheel and get things going. I really think it was a cold tire issue and low pressures more than any other thing.
And he was just being aggressive. He realized, yeah, he's got to be going for it. I mean, Wilson was doing the same thing. They traded paint through 3 and 4, and I think John was a little bit offline, tried to get on the power, washed out, and just dropped those left sides, and that was the consequence, spinning it around.
Gustavo Jacquemin behind the wheel of the number 6 now, taking over Justin Wilson like we talked about earlier. This is a young driver who's matured considerably since the beginning of the season. His first sports car season, first year in the Rolex Sports Car Series, and he finds himself leading in the final round from Lime Rock Park. We'll be back for more right after this.
I mean, it's been a wild ride. It's been great for my career. The Rolex Series has been so much fun to race, and I think they've got a great formula with the cars, and I think it's been a really good thing for the fans.
Sebastian Bourdais, Alex Popov, victorious at the first ever Rolex Series race at Indianapolis. Contact around against Angelelli, the first team to get 3 wins in 2012. Spirit of Daytona.
More great history shots from 14 years of Rolex Sports Car Series competition. It's great to have been a part of many of those races. And we still have some great stuff going on here in the final round of the Rolex Sports Car Series and in the final round of 2013. Right there, the 75, the Camaro, Jan Magnussen behind the wheel, sharing that car with Antonio Garcia, his regular partner in the American Le Mans Series in their Corvette, trying to keep Alessandro Balzan in that 63 Ferrari back out of the top 5, trying to hope that there's some little bit of strategy that can be played for their teammates in the 57.
Well, that's why they're here, to try and make it a hard task for the 63 car to clinch this championship. So Mags is not going to take him out, but he's certainly not going to make it easy for Balzan, who's right behind him now. Great season by Alessandro Balzan. He's raced here before, one of the few circuits on the calendar that he has raced before. Remember, he came on midstream last year and has really put together a tremendous championship season with that number 63 red and white Ferrari.
One of the things that Balzan needs to understand is he doesn't need to get past the 75 right now. He needs to be calm. Championship implications in GT and stories in Daytona Prototype as well, Chris.
Well, Max Angelelli did the job he needed to do. Hand over a clean car to Jordan Taylor. And Max, I heard Simon, your crew chief, telling you at times, hey, take it easy. Think of the big picture out there when you were wanting to race hard with Justin Wilson. How hard is that to hold back and think about the championship?
Very difficult, especially when you have such a great car that is performing so well. Our car is really, really good, really fast. So he convinced me. I stepped back, I just parked myself behind the number 6, and all we have to do is just looking after 01 and 99. That's it.
Yeah, you guys have just had an incredibly strong car the last quarter of this season. What is clicking with this team?
Well, we always, always try to be better, go better. In the middle of the season, just remember, we had one failure. But we recovered very well, and Jordan is doing, as usual, his perfect job.
Well, Jordan doing a great job today, and his older brother doing a pretty good job too, Darren.
Hey, Ricky, all right, so you guys had a pretty good run for the first stint there. You've had an up and down season this year. It's been a little tough, but you are the 3-time defending champion of this race. Can you do it again today?
I think we can. More importantly, the WCR team is 3 in a row, so with the championship online, that should be interesting. But I think we've got a shot. I felt terrible about qualifying, so I tried to do my best to make up for what I could. I don't know if it'll be enough, but we got the best guy in the car, Richard Westbrook. I think we got some tricks up our sleeve as far as strategy. So I'd like to end the season on a high note.
So I got a question for you. If it came down to the last lap, and it's you and Jordan, are there team orders between the brothers?
Well, this race is a bit special, but normally it's every man for himself.
All right, we'll see how they end up.
And Ricky electing not to go with the mullet that Jordan has been sporting here over the last couple of races. Yep. There's Richard Westbrook working his way through traffic past the FXDD Ferrari, the number 69.
They're digging deep, and we had one podium finish on the year, Dorsey, the 90 car, but had a nice pole position at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
There's the mullet. All right, so that is one Jordan Taylor mullet. That's where it started.
That's a real mullet. That's a Dorsey mullet on the left.
That one gets you in trouble then.
Yeah.
Jordan's going to be happy with us for showing those pictures for sure. Westbrook running 5th right now. More importantly, Jordan Taylor is running 3rd. If they finish 4th or better, they clinch the championship no matter where anyone else finishes. And right now, the 0-1, Scott Pruitt back in 6th. But man, you look up front, Gustavo Jacquemin leading. Wayne Nonemaker, great run, holding down 2nd in the number 42 that Dane Cameron started on the pole and led so much of the race with. But Jan Magnussen trying to make life difficult for Alessandro Balzan in the 63. Let's check back in with Chris.
Well, Lawson Aschenbach, maybe the lucky charm the 31 team needs this year. This car has been so fast, but lots of mechanical problems throughout the season. But you guys leading today, that car working well, Lawson.
Yeah, you know, we had a good stint. I was really happy about the pole this morning. That felt pretty good. But I got to say hats off to everybody at Whelen Engineering, Team Fox. This Chevrolet Corvette was fast. It rolled off the trailer fast. This is kind of their home track, so we're really, really excited about this race. And I know Boris wants to be here right now. I know he's probably dying that he's not in the car, but I do want to thank them for letting me drive the car because, you know, I know he had an unfortunate circumstance and couldn't make it, but really want to say thanks to the team, and I know Eric's pushing hard, and hopefully we can bring this home.
Big changes with this team for next year, stepping up into a Daytona prototype. Obviously, Boris and Eric part of that program, but will we see you in the car for the long races?
Well, it remains to be seen. You know, I've been working real hard. I'd love to race in a two-door, you know, United Sports Car Championship next year, but we'll see what happens. You know, there's a lot can happen in the off-season, but I'm pushing hard to get a ride over there, and I'd love to run with these guys, of course, or you know, anybody that have me. So we'll see what happens and hope for the best.
Yeah, he's playing super sub this weekend as the TSA is having their way with Boris.
I'm not going to go
really,
there.
I don't want to think about the blue glove.
Don't even get me going.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he's a really bright young American talent, though. Just continues to win championships. He's going after World Challenge Championship next week in Houston, and every year the boy performs and done a great job here today.
Well, I mean, he's another one of the young guns. I know we say it a lot, but I mean, he's another one of those guys that's a shining example of the future. There is Robin Liddell being shown in 8th in GT, so they've lost that time with that flat tire. They're down a lap to the leader in GT, but as I said, there's still a long way to go. An hour and 26 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long time around this place, and you know, being that nothing's happened to the car, I'm sure that was nothing more than a puncture.
Yeah.
You know, and it just caught out. It just caught him out when in the brake zone. The front, it went completely flat all at once.
They're like a number of teams, though. They need a yellow. They need the pack up to really get back in the game. I mean, everyone's just sitting there running their lap times, and when you lose that track position and you get that gap, it's hard to make it back up.
Gustavo Jacquemin leads from Lime Rock Park. Last time he led laps was at Kansas. He led 44 of them then. Can Mike Shank Racing hold on and claim the last victory of the season? We'll find out.
The number 88 Multimatic Ford will go into the record books as winner of the first race for the new class.
Forcella down the inside run. He's got it. He's got it. Forcella wins at Barber. Evans and Magnussen are driving each other off the road. They battle. Is Pruitt going to do what the 61 did? Pruitt gets it. Donahue and Law get the victory. It's close though. Oh, he's out of there. Yes, he will emulate his father. The Donahue family name is back in victory lane. The Action Express team go to victory lane in the Rolex 24. Rojas and Pruitt at Mid-Ohio, back-to-back wins. You can't ask for more than that.
Joey Hand will unfortunately forever be remembered for that BMW flip in Mid-Ohio.
Put Joey Hand's name in YouTube, you will see that image.
Exactly what will pop up.
Despite all of his success in other categories.
And what's the great shots? Pictures of Bob Snodgrass in there, who was such a supporter of sports car racing and certainly the Rolex Sports Car Series. Look at that, 79,000 miles raced over the 14 seasons, 142 winners, 24 tracks, 141 races. And we've been around for so much of it. Man, Rolex starts, the man that has the most of them right here with John Doonan.
John Doonan. You guys have had a very challenging year coming into this class, building a new car. Obviously, next year you're going to go into the GT class in 2014, which is a big challenge and very competitive. What does that look like?
Well, it has been a great year to bring home the Manufacturers Championship for Mazda. Joel Miller got Rookie of the Year in our new Mazda 6, and to be aligned with the launch of the road car, the new Mazda 6, has been really important for us. Final details for next year are yet to be determined, but we really have to give it to the France family, the entire Grand Am organization for giving us this platform for so many years. And we couldn't be more excited to enter the Tudor United Sports Car Racing Championship next year.
All right, guys, this will be an interesting one. That's a very competitive class.
Well, he says it's yet to be determined. I don't think he's telling the truth. I think they've determined exactly what they're going to do. The 46 with a problem. You saw the contact downhill.
That's on the downhill, guys. A bad place to go off.
Great to see Eric Lux back in Rolex competition. He's actually driven an Audi R8 a couple of times at the Dubai 24-hour race and the Bathurst 12-hour race, but first time here with full line.
He got it going. There's a lot of debris on the racetrack. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened.
Now he's got to get it back around. This is a very different R8, though. The rear wing is different. The balance of the car aerodynamically is different.
He did stunt there. 60 cars. Negri just came through the inside, and they've had to tear away that rear diffuser that got damaged earlier in the race. So he's struggling for rear downforce anyway, but he definitely got a bump there.
I think the first prototype went through. Negri was the second one in line, and I don't think Eric's ever even knew that he was there. Scott Pruitt has taken over from Memo Rojas. He is now up to 6th. Chris?
Well, Memo Rojas had a great opening stint. Had to start from the back because of that engine change. Drove it up into the top 5, Memo. But I heard you saying you were struggling with the front end of that car. The wicker change on the pit stop. The 01 working better?
Yeah, I mean, Scott's doing a great job. Fortunately, you know, the weather changed quite a bit, and we picked up a lot of push, but that's the same for everybody. I think our car's really strong. We just need, you know, to get a yellow flag to pack everything up, because we lost a lot of ground trying to get to the top 5, and car's good. I think we have a fast car to win, but we just need to get there.
Yeah, if we get this thing packed up, you guys definitely have something that can challenge for this championship.
I think so.
All right, bit confident there, guys.
One thing I'm seeing, guys, and I'm seeing it a lot, is that there's a lot of spent rubber on the racetrack. These guys are picking it up. Look at the radiator grills when they're starting to pack full. You see it on the racetrack right there. All those clumps are clumps of used tire, and those tires stick to the tires, and they flow back and go into the radiator. I'll be looking for some overheating pretty soon if it doesn't start clearing up.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here, about 70 degrees ambient, but certainly a lot warmer than we've experienced so far this weekend. So hopefully the crews and the teams have adjusted for that in terms of how much they got those radiators taped up and so forth in terms of controlling the temperature of the motors. Gustavo Jacobin, what a run he's having here. He is our Continental Tire halfway leader, continues to lead with this number 6 Mike Shank Racing Ford-powered Riley. What a finish to the Rolex era it would be if they could pull it off here today.
You want to tape your radiators up here as much as possible, because it's a high sustained speed track. You know, you're never going huge speed, but you're never going slow here. So all that you can tape up, the more downforce you get.
You've got to give credit to Gustavo Jacobin. He really struggled when he came into sports car racing, used to being a single-seat racer, and he struggled a little bit with adapting to it, but doing a great job here and leading. The 46, Eric Lux, has made it back to pit road.
Yeah, guys, this car is beat up. We got the right side in front of the right rear wheel, body damage. They've lost the diffuser on the back end. I'm sure it's a handful. Without that diffuser and the downforce that it gives it, it's going to make the car very loose. So they've got a lot of work to do on the back end. They're checking everything underneath. They basically told me Bourdais hit him and shoved him off track.
You know, this car was designed to be balanced between its aero balance and its mechanical grip advantage it has. This car's been compromised quite a bit. Take a look here as we go downhill. You'll see the side-to-side hit.
Yeah, I mean, the door was opened by the Action Express car. Oz tried to go through there with him, and Eric, I don't think, saw the other car coming. And it's just a dodgy area. I mean, when you get to that point in the GT car, you can't float around the outside of it. You got to try and get it turned in at some point.
All the drivers I've talked to who've driven this car say the same thing, basically, is that when it's really good, it's really good. But if you get the aero misbalance front to rear, it gets to be a real handful to drive. And, of course, with it being compromised today, the diffuser missing, this is a handful of car to drive.
Scott Pruitt now bringing the pressure to Richard West. Westbrook, I saw no problem with Negre trying to follow through there. I mean, Audi was already out on the outside. I just don't think Eric saw him. But Scott Pruitt trying to move forward. 6th right now. He wants that 5th place position where Richard Westbrook is. In reality, let's be honest, he wants to go to 1st.
Yeah, he's got to keep pushing hard. He's going to be really aggressive here. And they made that wicker adjustment on that pit stop. So hopefully the balance has come to Scott Pruitt's way a little bit. Starting to put the pressure on Westy here. And Scott's been really fighting with his GT traffic. We've seen a couple of moments where he's really had to get up on the curb, like here in West Bend, to avoid getting into the slower GT traffic here. But that's just the name of the game here at Lime Rock Park. It's a bull ring. You've got to fight your way through.
It's hard to be aggressive and be safe. You know, that's the problem. You got to weigh the odds. How much do you want to go?
Well, there is going to be contact. I think when you come to Lime Rock Park, you put on the body panels that aren't quite so straight and aren't quite so pretty because they're probably not going to come back that way. And you just got to know, especially in multi-class racing, you're going to work your way through, and sometimes there's going to be a little rubbing involved. Eric Curran, his Corvette looks very clean, though.
Now, these are one of the cars. He and Pat Long actually got penalties post-race after the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for roughing up Alessandro Balzan in terms of getting track position on him. And they got bumped back 22 seconds, which cost both those cars a couple of positions. There's a lot of consternation in the drivers' meeting this morning between the drivers and the chief steward, Paul Walter, the race director, in terms of what is allowable now, what are we going to get penalties for. And Paul was doing a great job in trying to explain to the drivers, you know, it's not all black and white. There's different types of penalties. There's different types of incidents. And obviously everyone has their version of the stories that have unfolded this year.
Well, and it really changed the complexion of the championship. Look at this battle for second. Jeff Siegel in the 61 Ferrari trying to get past Balzan in the 63, and that will have championship implications as well. What a great run by Gustavo Jacquemin, leading here at Lime Rock for Mike Shank Racing. On short tracks like Lime Rock, it can happen at any time, any corner, and it has happened. The number 61, Jeff Siegel in the pits right now, trying to repair some bodywork damage at tire rub. This is what happened.
Look at this, going into West Bend. There's the 61 car on the inside of our championship leader, with the 44 car having problems, or the championship leader to be. Look at that, Balzan goes for a ride. But all the way out, the two Ferraris hitting each other. Can you believe it?
That's the bad news. The Ferraris took each other out. I mean, they're out there to try to help one another instead of doing that.
They're not trying to help one another at all. Remember, Jeff Siegel wants to win, and they're not a part of the same team. Yeah, they're same manufacturers, but Siegel, it looks like things got stacked up a little bit. Siegel just tried to go to the inside, and they got together there in West Bend. What kind of damage was on the 61, Darren?
The right rear of the bodywork was shoved up into the tire, so obviously it was going to rub it and cut it down. You don't see it very often, but these guys were taking their feet in their hands and kicking and banging the carbon fiber off the back of a Ferrari. That's got to be expensive, but looks like they pulled it out of the way and got him going again.
Yeah, it's not often you beat on a Ferrari.
No.
Although the two of them just were beating on themselves up in West Bend.
There's something sacrilegious about that.
Yeah, it really kind of is. But, I mean, it was interesting. It looked like Siegel was side by side with him when they got there. There was also the GX Porsche involved kind of in the way, and that perhaps is what stacked up Balzan in the first place. So championship implications, we talked about it. Every corner, every lap, you got to be careful around this racetrack because it will bite you in a hurry, and Alessandro Balzan may have dodged a bullet.
I said, I mean, it's like cars come out of the trees to get you here. They come out of the swamps. They come out of everywhere. It's so hard to run this aggressively and not have problems.
That was incredible, though. I mean, obviously those two guys didn't get the memo from Italy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because they have to play nice. I mean, but that's what Lime Rock Park will do. You get a little bit of a run in traffic. You think you're alongside someone. The guy in front of you isn't looking. He's looking at the traffic in front of him, and there was contact. They were lucky to get away with that.
You're looking at the number 2, Ryan Dial for Starworks Motorsports. They won at Indianapolis and were in this championship up until just a couple of races ago, but they're having a good run here, Chris.
And Brian, at that point in the championship, they had the largest point lead we saw throughout the year, but Peter Barron's drivers, kind of a long shot today, Peter. The last 25% of this year's been a bit of a struggle for you guys. Trying to close out, you guys have a car to win today?
We're going to need a little bit of luck here. You know, some of the guys up in front, you know, they had a problem, and they took that early yellow, and they were worried about track position. So we're going to need a little bit of luck with some yellows, and I'm sure everybody watching on TV would like to see yellow like us to make this a little bit more exciting here. So fingers crossed, hopefully we could still try and manage a top 3 in the championship, but we'll still need a little bit of luck with that.
2 years in a row now, you've shown that your team can compete with the best here on pit lane. How you looking for next year?
Well, we're anxiously waiting the rules to come out and budgets and everything. There's all sorts of people in limbo, and we're a month and a half away from the test, and still out undecided, so it's hard to go out and plan when we don't know what to do yet.
Well, I'm sure we're going to see him back in prototype, and I'm sure they'll be running up front.
And Dial trying to improve another position, running 4th right now, and understand that the 61, Jeff Siegel, is going to get a stop and hold for 60 seconds for the contact with Alessandro Balzan. Take another look, and I know my opinion doesn't matter, but
Jeff Siegel on the inside of the red Ferrari.
Yeah, we see it late. I mean, Jeff has already tried to get alongside him, and suddenly there's nowhere to go, and he's just kind of buried his nose in there. He can't get out of it at that point, even if he wanted to. Balzan is committed to the apex of the corner, so I'd like to see it from maybe 300 yards sooner to see how it developed.
He tried to get out of it because you saw he had the Ferrari's right side wheels and tires across the curb in the grass on the inside.
But they were side by side. They were wheel to wheel.
Yes, they were. So, I mean, it's a tough call.
It doesn't matter. We didn't make the call. The call has been made.
It's a tough call if you got a voice, and I don't.
Sounds like you swallowed some of that balled up rubber, Dorsey, from the racetrack.
I'm bailing out of this one.
We need to get you a grill.
You're a coward.
I am.
Now, right now, Eric Curran, though, leading in his number 31 Corvette in the GT category. And there is Jordan Taylor in the number 10 Corvette. He flashes by in second, and the leader on pit road, Gustavo Jacobin, with a little over an hour to go.
I'm not sure this is scheduled, because I don't think they can go this far on fuel, because we'll have to wait and see here. Darren, what are you hearing?
Yeah, you guys, they're borderline on fuel. These cars won't go a full hour. They'll only go about 50 minutes, so I don't see them making it to the end. Talking to Michael Shank, everything's routine. They feel the car's good. They're not making any changes to the car, and they're leaving Gustavo in there.
Car's absolutely beautiful, and the 60 both have that Intratec coating on it. It's absolutely stunning. And I was talking earlier about Gustavo Jacobin really learning his trade now in sports car racing, and he's shown what he's made of here. He's been fast, he's been clean, and he's been leading this race until that pit stop.
Definitely learning his game. You know, we saw him at the beginning of the year make a bunch of what seemed to be rookie mistakes, but through talking to and through everybody working with him, he's come out. You know, we never had a problem with speed.
No.
He's always been fast.
Well, just the decision making. I mean, it seemed like he and Memo Rojas seemed to be tied at the hip there for 2 or 3 races. Couldn't get out of each other's way and had a lot of argy-bargy. But the 10 car, they're leading once again. They've won the race here 3 times in a row, gone for 4. And we believe they're on a strategy, guys, that they can make it with only 1 more stop. Certainly the 6 car will need some help with the yellow, but Mike Shank Racing certainly having a great day.
Mike, you guys are having a great day. You've had a fairly good season up and down, but you're coming in with almost an hour to go. So strategy-wise, you're not going to make it to the end on fuel. What are you guys doing?
Well, first of all, I got to say thank you to Aero. They did a great job with all these crazy colors we have all year. We've had a real tough year. Super proud of Justin Wilson and now Jacobin in the 6 car. We're going to have a little fuel issue here, I think, at the end. I think the 99, if it goes all green, just wins the race. We'll see what happens. Thanks to everybody for supporting us all year.
And what about next year? You guys carrying the flag for Ford again?
Soon. It's coming. We're going to be talking to everyone real soon about it.
Okay, I guess we'll have to wait and hear on that one.
And there's a look at the 60, the second entry for Mike Shank Racing. Oz Negre, John Hughes being shown in 7th right now. The cars are just stunning. You talk about thanks to everybody who supports them. Those are the names of
it's pretty cool.
A lot of his supporters down the side of the number 60. And Negre trying to move that car forward. He's 7th right now. Jordan Taylor in the number 10. Velocity Worldwide entry. Is the championship just over an hour away for that team? We'll find out. And a lot of fans on the hill enjoying some great Rolex Sports Car Series racing. I think we expected the unexpected here. We've certainly gotten it. Look at those scenics here. Fall is certainly descending upon northwestern Connecticut, and wow, somebody's been off track down No Name Straight, bringing a bunch of dust on. There's a look at the number 10. Jordan Taylor leading. Oh, and see, a car is taking the escape road. It looked like perhaps one of the Star Works. No,
I think it's one of the Action Express
I think it's the 9.
Yes, the 9 car.
That was probably the smoke we saw.
Brian Frizzell celebrating his 100th start here in Rolex competition here today. Good way to finish it out at the end of the Rolex era to get your 100th start. Pretty cool.
Solid 100.
Jordan Taylor looking for a championship in their 5th win today, but Ganassi looking to move forward as well. They're running 3rd right now, Chris.
Drama for the 69.
Somebody else off there too, maybe.
Hang on just a second, Chris. Let's check. It looks like problems for the 69.
Yeah, he's got something going on.
Right in the front.
Was there?
Yeah, his water coming out. He may have damaged the water radiator grill.
Nobody. This is another deal where nobody wants to win today. I mean, now we see damage. That's obviously contact with another competitor.
Well, back behind that, the 9's off too again. So I'm wondering if they did get together.
So you see the spray?
Yeah, that is water coming out. We got a full course caution. It's not this car though. I saw a prototype car off, guys.
See the water coming out from the radiators front balance.
There's more to it. There's more to it than what we're seeing here. I saw somebody else flying off. I guarantee you there's a car off somewhere.
How'd it go? These cars are just outside their fuel window, but I think they're going to have to take this caution here. This may leapfrog the 6 car into a pretty good position.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to have to. You're right at an hour to go. It's going to take maybe a lap or two before they open the pits. That's good because these yellow flag laps. Yep.
And these leaders are going to be pitting, so Yakman could go back to the front here.
They're talking about fluid on the track. And we saw that definitely that Ferrari was dumping fluid out of that.
So they're saying starts at pit out, and I wonder if perhaps Lazzaro made contact with somebody in the braking zone down in turn 1 and took that fluid all the way through 1 and 2.
There was a Daytona prototype spun off down in turn 1. And I think that was probably what we're seeing.
All right, let's take a look. So
there's
damage
the water.
is done.
There's the water pouring out.
99 car goes around him.
See, there's one of the cars I saw flying off.
Yeah, I think that was the 6 car got really wide.
And then more problems.
There's the 9.
That's the 9.
And he had problems later on in the lap. Remember, we saw him miss the chicane also.
And there's one of the 8-star.
Yeah, one of the other
Corvettes off. But where was the initial contact? We may find out.
Here we go.
Boom.
That's it right there.
Right there. That was Lazzaro trying to get a run.
Wow, right at the bottom of this
one of the Stevenson
I think that was
Camaros.
around the 75, wasn't it? Magnussen, he was trying to get around.
Those two had been racing each other.
Hey, down here with the 69 guys, talking with Emil Asentato, and he says the 75 car cut across him, trying to dive into pit lane and took out the front of the car. So they've got quite a bit of damage. They're going to have to fill it with water. They're going to be sitting here for a bit.
Well, they can't just fill it with water, or they can put something underneath and get the rest of it when it comes back out, because I think the
one of those
radiator's
problem
done.
areas on the racetrack. When someone's trying to get to pit lane, there's no real good way of signaling to the guy behind you. And you see there that the 75 car is trying to get to pit lane. Lazzaro had already committed to the right side, thinking he was just slowing, and he was getting a run on him, and there's nowhere to go. It's just a trouble spot when someone's close behind you and you're trying to get across to the right-hand side.
And that's why I said before, if you're going to pit, you need to get your hand up in the air and start waving before you go down the downhill, because it's so blind and it's so fast.
And they've talked for a while here at Lime Rock about putting the pit in back before the apex of the downhill, so that you must get to drivers right and be out of the way.
I think that's a future plan that will happen. I think that the pit in is going to happen up by the bridge, and that'll alleviate some of this problem. I mean, that's such a fast corner. You can't change your speed once you're committed to it. And if you happen to somebody cut across you, you can't do anything about it.
Skip Barber has made so many improvements to this facility. It's had several facelifts, as I've called it, and it always gets better. The facilities always get nicer. But as we continue to run sports car series like this and the speeds are as high,
there you go, look at this.
You got to find ways to improve things like this. Yeah, 75 was on his way into pits.
Yep.
And Lazzaro just didn't know it was coming.
No one's fault, really. There's just a miscommunication in that problem spot.
And that is exactly what it was, you know, and that's why we need to move that pit up further.
All right, 57 minutes left to go in the race. The pit lane is now open for Daytona prototypes. You got to come. You got to come now and make your last stop.
You're within 5 minutes of hitting your fuel window on a normal basis. There's still going to be some cleanup here. So here we see Michael Valiente is going to be a 3-driver rotation in the number 3 car today. Enzo Podelicchio started it. Michael's done a nice stint here. He'll turn it over to Stefan Sarrazin.
We're in trouble, boys. We've got 56 minutes worth of race, and I got about 30 minutes worth of voice.
Yeah, talk about degradation.
Pit lane is open, and Jordan Taylor is on pit road. Will be his last stop of the race, in theory, and the last stop of the season, hopefully. Chris?
Well, and there was so much traffic between Jordan and the other cars that they're going to have plenty of time to make this a nice, smooth start. No pressure. This has been the best team in pit lane all year. Going to do 4 tires and fuel. This car has had great balance all day. Not expecting much with the 10 car. Also the 01. Checked in with Tim Keen right before they came in. That car still a little bit tight. So going to be interesting to see. They are doing 4 tires. I was thinking since that car a little bit tight, maybe they would just do 2 tires. But they were also going to make a grill change to the 01 because the oil temperature a little high in that car. The 99 right behind the 10 car, doing 4 tires and fuel. No changes with the 99.
I'll tell you who the winner was. Six car, yeah. Gustavo Jacquemin. Because they had stopped only a short time ago, it took very little fuel. Yeah. So it was a very quick stop, and we have a little bit of an argument at pit out.
Saw that. And he didn't just stay out there to assume the lead. He came in, but his pit stop was obviously much, much quicker than the other guys, so he's in great shape right now.
Not surprised to see the temperatures going up. Like I said before, you would really tape up a lot in the morning like we had this morning. The more downforce at this racetrack you can get, the better.
Tell you what, Mike Shank Racing got a little bit of a break there, but boy, do they deserve one. They always seem to get the rub the wrong way. Today, they might be getting it the right way.
GT cars will be coming this lap.
Safety car has gathered the field up. The pit lane opened only for prototypes the first time by, and then it opens for GT cars the second time by.
Thank goodness with a 22-foot pit box.
Yeah, no lie.
And GX will come to pit lane along with GT, and then the third time by, anybody can come.
This is nice. Whelan car comes in with a little bit of a gap over their nearest competitors, and if they can execute this pit stop, maybe they can bring it home, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be pit execution, race execution for this team because they have shown speed all year long, but we've seen failures in pit lane. We've seen mechanical failures with this car throughout the season, so they haven't got the result they've wanted to or they deserved all season long. Going to do 4 tires and fuel. Really good balance with this Corvette too. Darren?
The 63 is in the same boat. Good balance, they're comfortable with the car. They don't have any real issues. It's just a standard stop with fuel and tires. The only thing they have to do is finish this in where they're at for the points lead. They don't have to win it, so they're being careful.
Well, the front tire change had a hard way to go. You see that? He got tripped up by the guy taking the windshield tear off. Then he ran around the other side and stepped on the signboard, which almost put him on his butt. So, that was a lot going on.
A little struggle with the left front of the 31 as well, but he gets out in the lead. GT has been wild from the get-go. Really, the only way to describe it. Lap number 2. And the championship complexion changes.
John Potter gets turned there a little bit by the Aston Martin, then gets absolutely clouded by that Lotus and the Turner Motorsports BMW involved as well. They've rebounded, they've repaired that Porsche amazingly to get him back out. He'll get points today. He's stranded right now down in the 13th spot.
And if you saw what was behind that bodywork, you would believe it. This was a big moment going down the front straightaway when the left front tire had a puncture, and they didn't know it until they got into the brake zone.
Look at this. Jeff Siegel down the inside of Alessandro Balzan, who could be a championship leader, or basically possibly champion tonight. Takes him out wide. He survives that moment. Scary, scary stuff for the Ferrari camp.
61 got a penalty as a result of that. A stop and hold plus 60. This is that 69 car in under the getting worked on under the tent. Looks like
trying to repair the radiator to the 69 to get them back in the fight. But Robin Liddell and the 57 Stevenson Motorsports Camaro back up to 5th in GT. That championship's going to go down to the wire for Jordan Taylor. He's right where he wants to be. He's in the lead at Lime Rock.
Everything's going to be good. I think it's going to be one of the most important classes in the whole world. So it's going to be very strong series, and everyone's going to be together. All the fans are going to be just for one class. All the cars are going to go to one class. So there's going to be a lot of cars on track. It's going to be a lot more challenging just to run in every track, every race, because you're going to have lots of people around.
Look at a few more of the highlights from this season and lowlights for some people if you look at how it turned out. But next year, that's what we're talking about, the Tudor United Sports Car Championship next year. There's a look at the schedule, 12 races, several of them, 4 of them in fact, Rolex venues, 4 of them ALMS venues, and another 4 venues where everyone has run in the past. But we start where we always have at the Rolex 24. We end with Petit Le Mans and some great venues in between.
Just a fabulous schedule, and all of the different classes will actually run in 11 of those 12, so they'll all skip one of those races. But just a superb series of venues, Dorsey. Very exciting for next year.
It's great to build it. As a building block, we'll get this series off and launched and running, and those are the tracks where we have a solid fan base. Everybody loves road racing throughout the country, and these are the tracks that come see it.
Yeah, it's good stuff indeed. Good stuff right now for Alessandro Balzan running second. He may walk away with his championship. If he does, a lot of the credit and a lot of the help came from Lee Keene. Darren?
Lee, you guys are in a good position for the championship right now, barring any issues on track. You had a great run in the beginning, but obviously there was a little bit of a tussle between the two Ferraris out there on the roadway there.
Yeah, you know, it's really wild out there. This is the best and worst place to kind of finish the season. It's tight. There's a lot going on. I think there's a little bit of a communication issue there between the two cars, maybe. And Siegel is obviously a good driver, multi-time champion, and you know, don't think he would really do that on purpose. But you know, we're still running really good. The car held up with the hit, and Balzan's doing an awesome job. Balzan's won a lot of championships in Europe, and he's looking pretty good right now. We all got our fingers crossed over here. The crew's been doing an awesome job all year, so just all smiles.
All right, good. Guys.
Back to green. Jordan Taylor leads the field down. Gustavo Jacquemin trying to hold on to second place. You see the number 3 of Stefan Sarazan in there. He's a lap down in that orange Corvette, but still pressing hard. Taylor pulling away.
Yeah, he's going to be pushing really hard. He wants to try and stay on that lead lap. They did a very late driver change between he and Valiente, and that's really put him into that position here. So Jacquemin in second. Pruitt trying to get around. Oh, and they trade paint. Here comes Cameron. He's got a run on Sarazan right now. He'll clear him for 4th.
And Jordan Taylor is doing like he's been doing all year long. He is checking out of this race.
Boy, does that car come alive. That 10 car just comes to life quicker than anything else.
Look at him pull that lead. Unbelievable. Scott Pruitt with a good start, too, now up to 3rd.
Think about the performances we've seen from Jordan Taylor. The first one that was so impressive was at Kansas, where he withstood the Pruitt from Scott Pruitt. And then you went to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. It was not only Pruitt, but it was also Scott Dixon and Dario Franchitti who had shots at him, and he withstood that pressure as well. Chris?
Well, the nice thing about getting a good jump on the field is Jordan Taylor now out front can kind of control the pace of this thing, because all of these teams have told their drivers, save fuel. We are right on the edge.
Yeah, I was told about 50 minutes was a fuel run. We got 46 minutes of green flag plus the yellow laps they ran. So it's going to be really, really close. And we're hearing the car 3 jumped the red flag at the end of pit lane, and that's how he got into that sort of like mess at the start of this race. So Sarazan is going to get a stop and hold here. Here we see the contact between Pruitt and Sarazan as they come through turn 4, Dorsey.
Kind of a hip check right there. Let's see if he gets in that tire or the front suspension. Look like just side to side scrape.
One more time, a car not involved in the championship is involved in the championship.
Here he comes. He's coming to pit lane now. That's a shame, because that car had some speed here today.
Gustavo Jacquemin really turned his car up, too. He's catching up. Here comes the 99 Red Dragon.
Oz Negre in that orange and black number 60, Mike Shank Racing, that metallic orange, so beautifully prepared each weekend, and Negre wants a part of this. And this restart really has put life back into everybody. New Continental tires, a full load of fuel, and they're going to tell them to go. They might have to conserve a little fuel here and there, but right now it is go time for every one of these drivers in the Daytona prototypes.
Yeah, pretty much the top 8, Dorsey, are on the same strategy. They all took an opportunity to pit here under that last caution. They've got 8 laps on the board, so they're all going to be trying to save just a little bit of fuel. Don't need to save much, but they're going to be pushing hard. Everyone's going for it. Someone's going to roll the dice here for sure.
It's going to be hard to save fuel when you got everybody all hounding you like that. I mean, you can coast down that hill. You can come out from underneath that bridge, back off the throttle a little bit, but you can't do that if you're trying to hold position.
Right now, talking about holding position, Eric Curran in the 31 out there in front. That's what we've seen all day long, but what we haven't seen, the 73. Patrick Long has moved forward in his Porsche, and he is now closing in on the back bumper of Alessandro Balzan in Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Patrick Long, one of those drivers penalized for contact with Balzan as he moved forward. post-race, actually 5 days later, he was moved back, and Long is going to put pressure on the back of that Ferrari.
Statistically speaking, Lime Rock has not been a good Porsche track. For whatever reason, some tracks favor other cars over other cars, usually because of the, we'll take a look at that incident we'll talk about right there. This is Patrick Long getting in the back, Balzan right there.
Down in turn 2, just gives him a little bump and run and gets the position, and this is what Paul Walter has said. That's not acceptable. You can give the position back, but you can't take the position away by a bump and run like that, and they consequently got
the Porsche has the engine over the rear wheels, so it tends to really hurt the rear tires as you go on. And the way this racetrack's set up with all these right-hand corners and with the weight on that left rear, it just grinds that left rear into the pavement.
And another contender runs afoul of the rules. The number 75, Jan Magnussen, will have a stop and hold for 60 for leaving pit lane with pit equipment attached. The 19 also with a pit infraction. He'll have to serve a penalty.
It's a 30-second penalty when you got equipment involved with it. It's a safety issue.
Another thing was going on here today. We have a fierce battle for the GT manufacturer's title. Ferrari leads by just 6 points over Porsche, so there's 63 car running in second. That would clinch the championship for Ferrari, but Pat Long is going to do all he can do in that gray and white Porsche. Third car on screen right there, the Park Place Motorsport. Porsche have had a tremendous run this year with a series of runner-up finishes. They want the top step of the podium to finish the year.
And don't forget, Pat Long's paycheck comes from Porsche. He is a Porsche factory driver. He's hired to do just that. You see the manufacturer standings, and as you said, just 6 points behind. Patrick Long wants to get that Park Place Porsche up front. He wants to do it for the team, for the kids at the Children's Tumor Foundation. Patrick Long has a target in front of him, and he wants to move forward. Jordan Taylor has a championship in front of him. He wants to hold on to the lead for another 42 minutes and change from Lime Rock.
I can't think of anything in my life that, except for the birth of my kids, that's knocked me out in that way. You know, Paul Newman once said that the best presents are the ones that you can't buy. And this was it. This qualified at the top of the list. That's cool.
That is definitely cool. And as I said, enjoyed spending time last night with Sam and Ellen at their house. And what a character, what a storyteller, race car driver, and knows so much about the history and the magic of this sport. Right now, the magic is with Jordan Taylor.
Mind you, I'll tell you what, Sam Posey epitomizes Corey. He is a great man, and one we love to work with.
Absolutely. This is a fantastic drive once again by Jordan Taylor. Nobody in his rearview mirror. This is such a demanding performance the latter part of this year that he's put on. Since they put him in as the finisher, the closer, he has done a stellar job.
5-second gap over the second place runner, which still remains Gustavo Jacquemin. But Jacquemin, Pruitt, and Cameron run within a second of one another for second, third, and fourth. So there's a fierce battle there for those final spots on the podium. But Velocity Worldwide, the 10 machine, going for their third straight victory of the season and their fourth consecutive win here at Lime Rock. That is amazing. No team has done that before.
In heavy traffic now.
And the number 10 just passing Patrick Long in the 73, that Park Place Porsche we were just talking about. Darren?
You guys were alluding to this not being a very good Porsche track, and talking with Joe LaJoy, who's engineering that car, he agrees. You know, the high-speed and medium-speed corners here are really good for the well-balanced cars. He feels like that front Corvette, there's no way to catch him. He's hoping to hang in there just with the Ferraris right now.
Patrick Long had a great run. You don't oftentimes think that Mazda Raceway is a particularly good Porsche track, and yet Patrick Long had a stellar run there, and he's been such an instrumental part of this Park Place team. Patrick Lindsay and Patrick Long have formed a great partnership there, and Patrick trying to help develop that program. And he was honest. He said, even at his young age, he said, you know, I'm not always going to be a race car driver. At some point in time, I'll have to step out of the cockpit. I want to learn what it's like to build a team, and he's helping them build. Right now, Scott Pruitt, though, all over the back of Gustavo Jacquemin in the number 6, the darker blue and white prototype, with Scott Pruitt in the 01, that lighter blue and white prototype. It's a Ford in the 6, a BMW power plant in the 01.
Tell you what, these cars were like magnets mid-season. I mean, they just couldn't get away from each other for that spell there, and a lot of incidents, a lot of argy-bargy, and cost them dearly in the champ. Pruitt gets a run. Pruitt gets a nice run. Jacquemin could see that he was going to come after him, defends that inside line down the hill.
And Pruitt gets a great run through the downhill. Can he do anything with it? Jakob stays driver's right.
As Cameron too. Cameron got a good run through the traffic. He's right there.
Cameron's who they got to watch out for because he's quicker.
He got through. He did. Cameron picked off Pruitt right there, slide it to the inside, and he did it.
I told you Cameron's the one they better look out for because he's got the legs under that car.
He doesn't wait for a moment. If the gap is there, he went for it.
No, and he had some very authoritative passes at Road America, Dane Cameron did. And that was another one. Scott Pruitt just got hung on the outside, and Dane Cameron shoved it up in there into turn one.
Cameron watched what was going on. He was pretty smart. He saw that going on. He knew he'd be the benefactor of the big toe, and he just looked for the gap to open, and did. He pounced.
Well, we talked about that full course caution and everyone coming in for tires and fuel. 0-1, Chris, do they have enough to make it to the end?
Well, Brian, it's been interesting listening to these teams now that we've had a couple green laps with the telemetry coming off these cars. The crew chiefs, team managers are able to see actually how much the driver is using. Simon Hodgson telling Jordan Taylor, even though he's got that nice lead, hey, you're doing great. You're right at the fuel number we need. However, Tim Keen talking to Scott Pruitt, who's obviously got his hands full out there. Scott, you need to do better. You need to save more fuel.
Well, remember Scotty's driving style, Chris. He likes to stab the throttle, and that burns fuel. When he gets into the mid part of the corner, he likes to balance the car by stabbing the throttle, Dorsey, and you can't do that if you're in fuel save mode.
That's a trick we used to use with the carbureted Trans Am cars. By stabbing that throttle and lifting, you would unlock and lock the locker. And these are fuel-injected cars. They don't respond the same way, but it does use a lot of fuel doing that.
Yeah, it's just a trait that he said I've got from my go-karting days, and they've been trying to break him of it. But Pruitt's one of the best in the business, but there's still things that you can learn in this game, and that's one thing that he still needs to try and get a hold of.
I mean, there are controls that you can use to help lean and richen the mixture, but the best control you've got is that driver that sits there in the seat. It's how they go in and out of the throttle. Even long coasts into braking zone can save fuel. But right now, the 42 Dane Cameron on a charge back to the front. Darren?
Katie, the 42 car, you guys are really pushing hard, and it seems like you're moving up through the field, but we know everybody's tight on fuel. Can you guys make it?
That's a very good question, and one I wish I knew the answer to. Right now, I'm trying to conserve. We've got Dane being a little careful. We've got it on map 2. We're just trying to make sure. I think we can make it, but it's kind of playing it every lap by lap because as you know, the track rubbers up, you go faster, so you use a little bit more fuel. So I'm a little bit worried, but you got nothing to lose now.
All right, they're going for it. And you guys know the different mapping changes how much the fuel uses, but unless it's a real long run, it's not going to make a big difference on a short run here with 30 minutes to go.
She did just bring up a really good point, though. The fact that the track is rubbered in, the overall amount of full throttle application available is larger, higher.
The other thing is, though, Dorsey, with traffic, you save a lot of fuel in traffic typically because you're going to have to roll out of the power.
You stay off the throttle longer.
You can save fuel with how you go into a braking zone, how you apply the throttle. You were talking about Scott Pruitt, that pat of the throttle in the middle of a corner, and that burns fuel. You got to save tires, you got to save fuel, and oh, by the way, you have to go fast all the while. So right now, Jordan Taylor, perhaps the best in the business of doing that as he leads here at Lime Rock. Eric Curran holding on to the GT lead in his Corvette. We'll be back to more from Lime Rock in the Rolex Sports Car Series.
The highlight of my career has been in the Grand Am Rolex Series. So grateful for everyone and can't be more excited about the merger, and I think it's going to be a beginning of a great era.
Two races, 2 crashes for SunTrust.
I remember vividly some of those. I'm not going to comment on them, though, but I remember vividly some of them. And I tell you what, there's about to be some more history made right here. Here's the deal. Jordan Taylor leads, but Gustavo Jacobman in the blue and white number 6, Dane Cameron in the 42 right behind the yellow and black car, and Scott Pruitt the 0-1. All 3 of those drivers need to win more so than Jordan Taylor does up front. It may get ugly here very shortly. Let's check in with Chris.
Well, just 30 minutes away from crowning a champion. Wayne Taylor won this championship back down in 2004, hoping to see his son win it this year. Wayne, Jordan has just been on fire the second half of this season. Have you had a chance to step back and really absorb what he's been able to do behind the wheel?
No, it's actually incredible. But, I've got to give a lot of thanks to Max, too, because Max has coached him a lot and helped him a lot, and he's just been flawless. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, he's going up against the best in the business. As we look towards next year, any chance we're going to see the 2 boys share a car?
Yeah, it's a great question, and that is certainly a possibility, yes.
Now, Calvin, obviously Calvin always has great questions. He's wondering if you're going to cut your hair or do something with what you've got going there if you guys win this championship.
I was about to go for a haircut, but my refueler had said to me, no, it might be unlucky, so hence the long hair. Sorry, Calvin, at least I can grow mine. You don't have much left.
As soon as I asked that question, I knew I'd
you were in trouble.
He's
learning
back
now.
at you.
He actually took the bait.
He's throwing it back at you.
Yep.
Pruitt now has his hands full of the number 4, Sebastian Bourdais, that orange Corvette right behind. The 90 is in there, Richard Westbrook. It is tight, 2nd through 6th in Daytona prototypes.
Yeah, and this is the frustration pack right here. All of these boys want better results here today, and they're going to be digging deep. That is a
Don't look, Dorsey.
Ugly little mess. And look at the points as they run, Dorsey. Take us through this.
He can't.
I'm unable.
He can't. Dorsey hates points as they run because he says it means absolutely nothing.
It only would be worthy if the world stopped right now.
Well,
then I wouldn't have to worry about my voice.
If it did stop, Jordan Taylor, Max Angelelli would win by 15. John Fogarty, Alex Gurney in 3rd. Memo Rojas, Scott Pruitt in 2nd.
I'm kind of good with that. You know, this is a group right here that has potential of getting really ugly.
Yeah.
Because they all need
Everybody
a win.
wants it.
They all want to win, and they all, I don't think they're going to catch Jordan no matter what they do, to be honest.
Jordan seems to be in a league of his own once again, 3rd race in a row. But look at this. Cameron trying to fight his way through the paddock. Yakima's doing a tremendous job holding on to that 2nd spot. Pruitt there realizes that the day is getting longer and longer, and he's got to pull something magic out of the bag right now. I'm not sure he can do it, though.
And one mistake in a pack that tight at Lime Rock won't take just one car. It's going to get a few of them.
Well, and let me say this. We're giving the drivers a lot of credit, as we should. They are the pilots. They're the ones who, and oh, look at Pruitt trying to put a move on Cameron, who got balked by the Ferrari, the 64. Will he get a run down the front straightaway? I don't think so.
No, I think it negated it right there.
But we were talking about the drivers. The teams are the ones that make it all happen. I was talking to Simon Hodgson. He said there are only about 2 or 3 guys that are on that team for Wayne Taylor Racing, Velocity Worldwide, who were there when they won the championship before. They practice pit stops every day. They work on the car every day. He gave a lot of credit to Brian Pillar, the engineer, on getting the setups and trying to do the simulation so that every racetrack that they go to, it is definitely a team sport. If they win this championship, it's not just Max Angelelli and Jordan Taylor, it's the entire team.
Here's the deal. You don't need this car back. You know, we got a half hour to go for a championship, and if this car comes home in a basket, it doesn't make any difference, does it? We've got next year, we got the whole winter to rebuild, and we got a different set of rules and a different set of circumstances next year to run under. So these guys are going to go after it.
Guys in 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
They got some clear space right now, so we'll see who's got the pace. Yakiman, though, really impressive here in the 2nd half of this season. He's really calmed things down. Had the speed all year, but just a little bit too aggressive mid-part of the year. But certainly he's been talked to. I think Justin Wilson coming on board with him as a regular teammate for the last half of the year has really had great effect on him.
Cameron's been magic, too. When the car's right, he's been unbelievably strong.
I mean, think about how close they were to a victory at Road America. They could almost hear the cork coming out of the champagne bottle, and it all went away with a mechanical issue. They don't want that here, and they are willing to roll the dice on fuel to get that car to the end.
And credit to that team, the Salins team. This is their 1st year in Daytona prototype competition. They didn't do a lot of testing. They're behind the 8 ball. All of these tracks they're coming to for the first time with one of these type of cars. And Dane and Wayne and Katie Crawford and the whole group there have done a tremendous job to put out a competitive package week in and week out.
A little bit of David and Goliath, but they have certainly stepped up, and they have been a force to be reckoned with. I'll tell you what, at Road America, it was Scott Pruitt who said, Dane Cameron's for real. And when you have a man like Scott Pruitt say that about a young driver, that is a real feather in your cap, because the veteran recognizes who the future superstars of the sport are going to be.
Dane said at the end of his first stint, the rear tires were going away, and I see him really pushing hard here in this stint. Be interesting to see if those tires are going to hang on here for the last 24 minutes or so.
Man, it is getting tight in there. Bourdais in that orange Corvette right behind Pruitt, looking for a way by. You ride on board the 90 with Richard Westbrook, another team desperately looking for a victory to end the season on a high note. The season, only 24 minutes left. And it's not just the season, it is the end of the Rolex Sports Car Series. Its final race after a 14-year run. We'll be back to more. History will be made right here at Lime Rock.
You know, it's just something I thought of over the summer. We've had so much positive reinforcement from our fans, and I wanted to do something to show appreciation. We came up with this wrap, which I'm really proud of, and it's got about 230 names on it. I gave a period of time where people could sign in and say, yeah, we want our name on the car.
We have some pretty hardcore fans. We put their names in the car for this race, so they ride with us. And, you know, it's just a way of saying thank you.
We're real proud of it. I'm proud of the people who support us, and I'm grateful and thankful to them.
Well, Mike Shank has always been so well supported, so well liked by the fans. They should be. They've done a great job over the years of building that program. And right now, Oz Negre having a pretty good run. He's there in 8th. I know they want to move forward, but the 6 car running in 2nd and still running strong. We talk about the Mike Shank Racing team. Let's go back down to Darren with one of the tallest drivers in the field.
Hey, I thought I was tall. Justin's even taller than me, so now I feel better about that. Hey, you guys have been running good. You're running P2. How's the car, and can you make it on fuel? That's been the big question.
That's a good question. I'm hoping we can. You know, the guys on the stand say that we can make it. So, car's running good. P2, we've been strong most of the weekend. We haven't shown our pace up to qualifying. We qualified 4th, so I think we're in good shape. You know, there's lots that can happen. I know Gus is hanging on. They tend to get a little loose as the stint goes on. So I know Gus is just hanging on right now, and hopefully we can keep 2nd place and just keep pushing ahead.
And so then after this weekend, you've got what? You've got Houston in IndyCar. That's the last road race for the season. Where are you at in points?
Currently 6th in the championship, so you know, a lot to play for. Double header at Houston next weekend, then we go to Fontana for the final. So we're hoping that we can finish off on a high there with Delcoin Racing, and you know, see what happens. If we can maybe sneak another spot or 2, but we really want to get a win before the season's out.
All right, Justin's a busy guy, you guys.
So is Darren. He interviewed Justin, the tallest person in the field.
Oh, trouble here.
Katie Crawford is probably the shortest person in pit lane, but problems for the 00, yeah.
Miller. A lot of smoke out of that car.
Yeah, I think Day done, and looks like a piece of body work came off.
I ran over something on the track. Yeah, he hit something.
That might have been left from the contact between the Ferrari and the Camaro there.
Looked like a wing that he hit.
Take a look. And have a fair amount of smoke, and then, okay, Day done.
Go. Yeah. Big time.
So he'll limp that back around, and he has, and you see all the fluid up on the windshield.
Steam on the windshield, yeah. Stuff underneath, running out.
And these Mazdas have been so strong. They've won so many races in GX, but the reliability is what they've really chased, and it's kind of gone back and forth between the 70 and the 00 as far as wins and fast laps go in that class. 01 still putting pressure on 42, and right behind Pruitt, Bourdais still putting pressure there. Jackman has gotten just a little bit of breathing room from Cameron.
He does, but one thing to think about is that Ford got a couple of hundred extra RPM a few races ago, and that's going to burn fuel, Dorsey, if he's running at maxing it out on RPM. So he's got to be conscious of that. Everyone stopped on the same lap, so be interesting to see how the fuel mileage stakes works out. We've got that Ford-powered engine, then we've got a 5-liter BMW, then we've got the 4.5-liter BMW with the 01 going through the shot there, then the Chevy,
and then
yeah, another Chevy.
You just saw him pushing Joel Miller to 00 Mazda behind the wall. They're done.
That day is done. Jordan Taylor having a great run out in front. Gustavo Jackman holding down 2nd, then Dane Cameron. Scott Pruitt, they've got to move forward if they want to stay in this championship. 17 minutes left, and Eric Curran in GT still out in front, but Patrick Long has gotten past the Ferraris. He's up to 2nd, and he's closing the gap down to Eric Curran, but I think Eric can really kind of control that.
I think Pat Long was closing the gap, and I think they got on the horn to Eric, and he's been able to stabilize that the deficit.
Patrick got around the 63 car a little bit earlier in this race, but Balzan, I think, made it easy. He's really in the prime position here to just bring it home with that podium run. That'll give him the championship. Good news is for the 44 car, by getting the car back out there right now, if they finish it as they run, they will still get 2nd place in the championship, which will be a bit of blow for them, but still a good run, and a good run in the championship for them.
Well, and for Balzan, when you look at timing and scoring, the 4th place car is Johannes van Overbeek. He just happens to be in the team car. So if he's running anywhere close on track to the backside of the 63, I think he's the next car in the serial that you see right there, he can kind of protect a little bit. It's Robin Liddell that's 5th, but certainly Johannes van Overbeek, very familiar with a Ferrari. He ran one in the American Le Mans Series for a couple of seasons, and a very accomplished driver. And he was brought in for the sole purpose of trying to protect this championship for Alessandro Balzan.
See Jordan Taylor there about to get up to this GT lead, Pat. What a performance he's done here. He's got 13 seconds on the field right now. It was up to around 15 seconds. So we keep looking at that battle between Yackerman, Cameron, Pruitt and Bourdais and Westbrook. Well, Jordan Taylor has gapped those guys by 13 seconds. Just really on it for these last 2 or 3 races of the championship.
That's exactly what I said earlier on. I mean, this isn't just a good driving performance. He is making mincemeat of everybody underneath him. I mean, he's had the best of the best out there. IndyCar drivers, everything. When he pulls a trigger on that 10, goodbye field.
Well, and you guys have both done it. You've been in seasons where you just wear the car. It fits. It's comfortable. You get in it, and there's no nerves. Everything just falls into place. And Jordan Taylor is in that zone right now. We talk about how important the team is. That's all well and good, but Max Angelelli doesn't have the performance that Jordan Taylor does in this car. You just have to call a spade a spade. Right now, Jordan Taylor is just in the zone, and he has been for this last quarter of the season.
He's a league of his own right now. I mean, everybody should be looking at him at his age and saying, this is a real deal. This guy can really drive. He's special.
Well, he's picked up the mantle of being the finishing driver. It's one thing to turn fast laps and slow positions, but
oh, I didn't even like to see that. I just saw smoke out of the tailbox pipe of the 10.
Dirt there on the racetrack.
14
minutes to go.
He's got 14 minutes. I don't want something to go wrong there. Looks clean here.
It's nail bite time down in the
or Simon Hodgson.
Robin Liddell still ahead, Ben Lally.
Just giving him an update on what the traffic is and what their positions are. So Simon's just talking him through this race, and that's important here. When you've got a healthy lead like this, you need someone on that radio who's talking you through. Under 15 minutes to go. I don't think there's any concern right now from what they're seeing on our screen, but this battle has turned around here. Pruitt has got around Cameron.
He sure has.
And now what does he have for Gustavo Yackerman? It looks like perhaps the 0-1 has come alive a bit.
Cameron's car may have gone a bit loose on him.
They had talked about that earlier, about how the rear tires went off on long green flag runs.
Really
he's sideways there. So Gustavo Yackerman in that darker blue number 6, the blue and white from Mike Shank Racing. Scott Pruitt closing down. Is Gustavo Yackerman in a fuel-saving mode? You talked about it. An extra 200 RPMs is going to burn fuel. And right now, Gustavo Yackerman needs to conserve fuel, but he needs to stay in front of one of the best in the business, 5-time Rolex champion, Scott Pruitt.
Scott looks faster right now. I got to be honest with you. The car looks more grippy, more stuck to the track.
Made that wicker change on the first pit stop to try and free the car up. It was a little bit tight. Scott doesn't like a car that has push in it.
I give a lot of credit to Justin Wilson with what he's done with Gustavo Yackerman, and Gus had said that earlier in the year. He said, you know, it's been a big help to have Justin Wilson there. He didn't vary his line down the front straightaway. He didn't give in to any pressure that Scott Pruitt had put on him. He's just focused ahead, focused forward. That's what you have to do. And a lot of that maturity has come this year through a lot of trials and tribulations that Gustavo Yackerman has had. And he said, the team has stood behind me. Justin Wilson has stood behind me. And that has helped. Take a look at Detroit. Talk about trials and tribulations.
Look at this opening lap of the race. He just dives down the inside of Manuel Rojas and just, that's okay, but then he just gave him zero room with a concrete wall right there. That was just bad form, Dorsey.
It was really bad. Hated to see that. You see right here, another risky move down the inside, contact again.
Observation at this point in the championship as well. Didn't seem to make a difference.
Of course, the problem with that contact, he went off the track. As he came back on, pulled an oil line off the car.
Caught
and the
fire.
car was engulfed in flame.
Unfortunately, nobody could get to quite quickly enough.
I think the frustration for Mike Shank was he realized that Gus had a lot of speed, a lot of potential, but he just wasn't being patient enough in terms of learning the game, understanding sports car racing, just going for gaps where you need to just have a little bit more patience.
And what I see in his eyes right there is calm. He's very calm. He's focused on what's ahead.
He's tuned in.
He's doing a good job, but he's going to have to deal with some GT traffic. Can Scott Pruitt use it to his advantage?
He was looking in the rearview mirror because Scott's up underneath him.
Oh, that helped right there.
That was a real nice deal. He just put the 63 between them. He'll try to do the same thing now going down the downhill.
Gustavo Yackerman using some traffic to help pad that lead over Scott Pruitt, but it's Jordan Taylor who has this championship in his control. Can he hold on for another 11 minutes? The season is coming to an end. We'll be right back. And the season has ended about 10 minutes too soon for at least 3 more competitors. The 99 on pit road with a lot of damage to the front end of the car, the radiator with a hole. Patrick Long in the 73 from Park Place Motorsports having a good run. He has a problem, looks like damage to the radiator on his Porsche.
Wow.
Richard Westbrook was involved.
This is horrible. It's just going to be less than 10 minutes left to go.
Taylor will not be believing this.
He won't.
Comfortable lead, championship firmly in their grasp, and now they've got to fight for it once again. Let's take a look at the replay here. Pruitt goes through the chicane. Look a little bit further back. Pat Long gets turned around by Westbrook, and the 99 car just pile drives him, had nowhere to go.
Which, look at Patrick. He's so mad he pushes the 90 right out of the way. Watch his run.
Here's Westy, just tries to tuck it in there behind Bourdais.
And then the 99.
Nose to nose with the 99. That takes out the radiator of both those cars.
So the 99, the 90, and the 73 involved, Chris.
Well, we can see Alex Gurney getting out of the 99, walking over this team. They initially took a look at this front assembly here, radiator damage, splitter damage, just way too much damage to try and get this car fixed. So it sounds like Alex really had no choice out there as other cars getting together on the racetrack. And I'm going to try and get across the wall here and get a moment with Alex since he's getting his helmet off. Alex, what happened there?
It looked like I didn't, there was a lot of dust coming up, but the 90 spun, and, I ran right into him. Unfortunate. It was a tough day anyway, but we were trying to just collect 3rd place in the championship, and anyway, a terrible way to end the season.
Yeah, tough way to end the season. We've seen the 5 getting taken out of this championship, now the 99. This championship not ending the way that a lot of these teams wanted.
And it's not over. 7.5 minutes to go. There's going to be a restart. I'm going to think 4, maybe 5 laps.
There's Patrick Long.
After the restart, depends on how long it takes to clean this up. And that is not what Wayne Taylor wanted to see. 18 seconds, almost 19 seconds he had in hand.
He's got to start over. That's all gone. Patrick Long's out of the Porsche. He was a victim in this circumstance.
Had such a great run going, Dorsey. Running in the 2nd spot. Didn't look like he could close in on Eric Curran for the win, but it had been another strong runner-up position. That would have been their 4th on the season. And just really, really frustrating to have that sort of performance. And that's just the problem when you got 2 different classes trying to find the same piece of racetrack here at Lime Rock.
It accordioned up. It looked like Richard Westbrook just got into the back of Patrick. Patrick then, had his problem. Then spun. The 99 hit nose to nose with the car.
Talk about the performance and the versatility of Patrick Long, and obviously very well known for his Porsche driving. There's the number 31, the Royal Purple Outperformer of the Race Award is going to go to that team for their performance. Eric Curran with Lawson Auschenbach. Lawson Auschenbach steps in, gets the pole. This team has had some problems throughout the season, but right now a great run. 6 minutes left in the 2013 season. 6 minutes left in the final Rolex Sports Car Series season.
And the final race in GT for that team as they're moving up next year.
That's right. They're going to move up to the prototype ranks. And I think this is a special race. I think everyone knowing that the Grand Am Rolex era is coming to an end here with the United Sports Car Championship next year, everyone wanted to win this one. And it's a special day. So this team has had a lot of frustration coming so close. It'd be great to see those guys get a win here this year.
I mean, you talk about the future, and a lot of teams are looking at different things. And with that merger, take a look at some of the
we
thoughts.
always call it the off season. We think in our heads that we're going to be able to relax a little bit, but in the end, it's not true. We're working just as hard because we're doing tests.
Next couple months is going to be pretty hectic. I mean, there's a lot of changes coming. We don't know exactly what those changes are, but we know they're coming. It'll be interesting to, once we see the rules package and how the cars need to change, and then getting back out to Daytona and Sebring and testing and getting ready for the 24 and the 12.
You get a little bit more time in between and maybe a couple weekends in there, but pretty flat out in the driver's seat until mid-December. And then, of course, the beginning of January, we're already at the Roar.
We got a lot going on. The series is making changes with, the new class structures, with, United Sports Car, with running Daytona, running Sebring, all these long races. So this is going to be a serious offseason.
A pretty serious calendar between Lime Rock and the 24 hours. So, I mean, every year I've always gone to Formula Medicine. This year, I don't think there's going to be any time to do anything other than waiting this number 90, trying to make it go faster.
And the drivers are going to drive a lot of things between here and there. You saw Patrick Long talk about the future. Well, Patrick Long, versatile. We've seen him run stock cars in the past. I've watched him race motorcycles, much to the chagrin of Porsche, I think. He was racing on short track stuff, and he's going to race in the Baja 1000 along with Rafael Navarro, the fourth, here coming up. And just anything with wheels on it right now, Patrick Long seems like he's going to run. There's the look at the 38. Jim Norman, Spencer Pompelli. Norman claiming the championship in the GX category.
They're going to let Jim take the car to the checkered flag here and finish off the season.
That's the only good thing about this caution so far is they've allowed this car to come in and the owner to take it. And this is a sad picture. Here is the blanket over the front end, and they push it behind the wall. The championship is gone.
Lights out on the pace car.
3 minutes.
3.5 minutes.
That's going to be less than that. You update a 2-lap sprint.
It's going to be 3. If they get to the line before 3 minutes, it may be 4 laps.
Could be 4.
Could be 4.
And let's find out if Jordan Taylor can do what he's done
just
in the
drive
past.
away. He's going to have a good start here.
Sarrazan's there right in the mix again. Remember when we went back to that restart, he was there separating the 10 car from the rest of the pack.
Hopefully everybody cleaned their tires good, because it's going to be crucial now.
And Jakob doesn't want to see the 3 car there, but this is a short caution to clean things up. Jordan Taylor actually has a little breathing room with him there. He's going to jump out. Jakob looks to the inside, see if he can get past Sarrazin, who is 3 laps down.
Yeah, he's got to let these guys go.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be in this at all.
Yeah, he's going to spoil this motor race if he tries to fight too hard.
So Gustavo Jakob focusing forward, but it's a lap car that's in front of him. Where the heat's really going to come from is Scott Pruitt right behind him. Understand the 90 will get a stop and hold for 60 seconds for avoidable contact. That is Richard Westbrook for the contact with Patrick Long. And Sarrazin's pulled out pretty well in front of Jakob, and that's left the battle right here.
But look who else has pulled out.
Yeah,
Jordan Taylor's
gone.
Bye-bye.
He's gone.
That's what I wanted to see. Take the pressure off. This is like Sebastian Vettel does in Formula 1 at the moment. He just takes off and takes all the pressure off for the remainder of the stint. Incredible.
I love that. He says, come and get it, boys. Come and get it.
Well, and if you can get that jump and you can build that lead immediately, like you were alluding to, Calvin, almost instantly the pressure's gone, because you look in your mirror at the end of the first lap, my lead is there.
A lot of credit to Jordan Taylor, but a lot of credit to that crew, as Simon Hosen told us this morning. I mean, Adam Bennett and the whole group there, Brian Peller, the main engineer, have really done a tremendous job in working with this Corvette car, which has got the Dallara chassis underneath it. They've really found the sweet spot, and they keep bringing it home every week right now.
Pops a 2.5-second lead on the first lap on a restart. I mean, he's just checking out. I mean, that's dominance. It's unbelievable.
And I think in years past, the Dallara chassis was really known for its high-speed handling, but what that team has managed to do is find a setup that allows it to have good mechanical grip and really put the power down well, and they have been magic this year.
Well, it's nice to see Sarrazin's not really affecting the race for second. It's what it's down to now. He's clear of all that. Here's your GT leader by a lot again.
Good for Eric Curran and this entire team. You said it, Calvin. Everybody wants to win the last race of the season, but certainly when it's the last race of an era, the Rolex Sports Car Series, and your name goes down in the record books, and that team has worked so hard over the years. It'd be good to see them take a victory here. Sure, it will be an emotional one. Jordan Taylor, 2.3 seconds in hand over Gustavo Jakob. 1 minute left in the season, 1 minute left in the series.
Look at this battle here. Forget about the leader, but look at this. Second through 6. Negri is caught right up to this little pack here. This is going to be interesting here for the last couple of laps.
They're going to get a 1 to go. It's a little short of 1.5 miles when they get to the start-finish line. Somebody's going to have to make it happen if they want second place.
Can Jackman hold on? He's driven a perfect race so far.
Jordan Taylor has checked out. He'll get the white flag at the line. There it is, his first professional championship. Merely 30 seconds away, 1 lap away. Gustavo Jakob still handling the pressure from Scott Pruitt. Dane Cameron in there as well.
Will anyone get overly aggressive here on the final lap of this race, final lap of the championship season, and final lap of the Grand Am era?
Don't see anybody being aggressive right now. I think, you know, look at that GT battle behind that leader.
Look at that. There's the 57 in there, but he's a lap down. It's Curran, Balzan, then Van Overbeck. So a championship for Alessandro Balzan in the Rolex GT, just less than a lap away.
He's sitting pretty with 2 Ferraris right behind him, too. I don't think they're going to do anything to him now. They won't rough him up.
Congratulations to the Scuderia Corsa team. What a performance they put together this year. Just really, really consistent.
And here we go, Jordan Taylor, Max Angelelli, they make history, they win at Lime Rock, and they win the 2013 Rolex Sports Car Series Daytona Prototype Championship. Gustavo Jakob, a great run to second, It's celebration all around. Jordan Taylor, the emotion overcoming it, I'm sure. And for Eric Curran, Lawson Aschenbach, they win at Lime Rock Park.
And that smoke up ahead, in the middle of that is the 10, with young Jordan Taylor burning out.
What a day for GM. Fantastic stuff.
GM dominates, as you said, Calvin, in GT and Daytona prototypes.
There he is.
There you go, Jordan Taylor. You think the pressure's been taken off? Look at that. It is time to celebrate. Mazda celebrates in GX, and for young Jordan Taylor, such a cool, calm customer behind the wheel, but such a personality outside the car and away from the racetrack. I'm sure we'll see that personality with the celebrations when we come back to Lime Rock Park. Cars returning to Victory Lane, and Victory Lane is a place that the number 10 team knows all too well. They have been so strong this season. The 5th victory of the year, the 3rd in a row for Velocity Worldwide. Wayne Taylor racing in his group, and Jordan Taylor, just another stunning performance today.
Oh, just dominant. I mean, he has just really been on fire. Someone had to grab this championship by the scruff of the neck. The number 10 team, the Velocity Worldwide group, Paul Blakely and all the boys, they'll be ecstatic to win this championship. First year with that banner on board, and it's just been a tremendous performance, Dorsey, once again today.
And it might have all changed at the point that they took Max out of the lead and they put young Jordan Taylor as the finisher, and that really changed the effort.
You like the points now that it's over with? You can read them?
I'll agree with this one, Taylor.
You'll agree with this one?
Yeah. Well,
Dorsey and his points as they run now. This is points as they run now, Dorsey.
I like it, the way it looks, just like that.
They came in with an 8-point advantage, and with that victory, they extend it to 13. Congratulations to Wayne Taylor Racing. Chris, you got to be careful down there. I'm sure it's going crazy.
Yeah, lots of hugs and kisses down here. Really such a family affair with this team. Wayne Taylor, his wife, Shelly, down here. Kisses, hugs. Shelly's got tears in her eyes. She's having to walk away. Jordan just finally getting his helmet off right now, as everybody's just been giving him hugs the entire time. Jordan, what a great run by you guys. Hey, guys. There, you got a trophy for winning the race. You're going to get a trophy for winning the championship. Max, you got to get in here, too. Jordan, you really just took over this championship. Back at Indy, I remember your dad saying he thought you guys were out of it. You needed to win races. You won all the races.
Yeah, you know, there have been studies, you know, and 60% of the time, Ganassi's won the championship every time. And we definitely wanted to make a change, so I mean, the last few races just have been awesome. I mean, the guys, you saw this race, we were the only one to do the certain stops because we were saving fuel the whole middle stint, and it's basically down to these guys. They make it look easy for us, and you know, my mom always said you're only as good as your car, and I've got to thank all these guys for that.
You grew up in a racing family. You and your brothers going to the racetrack when you were just young children, watching your dad win championships, watching Max win championships. Now you finally have your first professional championship. What's that feel like?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a loser in a way. I mean, racing is my life. I've only got a few friends like Mark and Kristen back home, but it's family, friends, and racing for me, so I'm just happy to finally get a championship with basically my brother there, Max. Yeah, thanks, baby.
Yeah, basically your brother, Max. He's consistently walking away from you here, Max. Max, you got your first Rolex championship back in 2005. Yeah. It's been 7 years since that. You watched these Ganassi guys win so many along the way. Yeah. Now you got your second championship, and you did it with a kid that you've been tutoring since he was a little kid.
Yes, and it was so little. I'm so proud of him. He did such a fantastic job. The whole team, don't forget, it's a team. We are all together, pit stop, strategy, they were just fantastic, and everything worked out.
Everything worked out. We've got champions here. 2011, Velocity Worldwide. Darren?
Eric Curran, finally, I can say finally, you guys pulled off a win this year. You know, you guys have been so close, you've been so fast all season long. I mean, it's got to be great to pull off a win, and you did it in a dominant style this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is amazing, Darren. I mean, Lime Rock Park, home track to me, home track to all the guys here on this wheeling team. It's amazing. It's fun. So Boris couldn't make it, so we put Lawson in. Lawson puts the car in the pole and leads for a while, and I take over, and this 31 Team Fox wheeling Corvette was awesome all day. Home track, Lime Rock Park. Got Sonny Whelan sitting on the hill, all the Team Fox folks up there, all these guys. I mean, we needed this. We're going to DP, but what a way to finish up in GT. I mean, it doesn't get any sweeter.
All right, man. Congratulations, Chris.
Well, Tom Long and Sylvain Tremblay come away with the final win of the year in GX. Sil, what a great year for you guys. You developed a new car. You got a bunch of wins along the way.
Just a lot of courage by Mazda to really roll out the SkyActiv technology on the racetrack. Just great support from Castrol and Visit Florida and all our Mazda dealers and everybody that runs and buys a Mazda. Just thank you so much. This is what we're doing. SkyActiv technology, baby. Yeah!
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations indeed. And Eric Curran talking about all the locals here. That team's been so fast, 7 front row starts, but only 1 podium. They take the win today. There's a look at GT points for Alessandro Balzan. He did exactly what he needed to do.
He did, but what a heartbreaker for Andy Lally and John Potter. They put together the perfect championship season until lap 1 of this motor race where it all went sour for them.
In the top 4, looking at the points at the end of the year, could still win going into another race if we had one to go. That's fantastic.
And for Alessandro Balzan, what a great championship. He was celebrating pretty heavily on the way back around, Darren.
Alessandro, that was a wild race. I mean, the championship came down to the wire. You know, it could have been the 44 car. They had trouble. Then you had some trouble in the middle of the race, but you got the championship today.
Crazy race, crazy. It was, I think, the hardest race ever in my life. You know, for me to be here, the first year for me and first year for Scuderia Corsa to get the championship. I think we are going to spend a fantastic holiday this winter because the guys deserve a lot. We deserve a lot. It was really unlucky what happened to the 44, sure, but it was really wild, especially the last 40 minutes. It was, not everybody was really fair, but you know, I am the champion, the team is the champion, Ferrari is the champion. We cannot ask for more.
All right, congratulations, Chris.
Well, Scott Pruitt was going for his 6th championship, came up just short. Scott, what a year. I mean, we've never seen a championship with so many guys going into it, possibly winning the last round.
It was one of those deals. You know, I can't say enough for the Ganassi guys. I mean, to win the Rolex 24, to win the Endurance Championship, to win the Team Championship. And if it wouldn't have been for what happened to Detroit and the fact we had to recover from an engine issue earlier today, right in the middle of qualifying, I can't be happier. Memo did a great job. The Telcel BMW ran like just as good as we could have expected out of my family at home. And you know what? Second's okay. I mean, you always want to get first, but to get everything that we've gotten, the last Grand Am race ever, it's a little bittersweet.
Well, we saw extremes this year, guys. It was a year of peaks and valleys for all these teams. Brian?
It was, mate, and I tell you what, Ganassi team get the team championship, but they were going after their 4th consecutive driver championship. It was going to take someone special and put together a special year to really deny them of that, and the Velocity Worldwide boys did it, Dorsey.
Yeah, they did. You know, it's time for us all to take a deep breath. Start a new chapter.
And we are going to start a new chapter, the Tudor United Sports Car Championship next year. It's coming in 2014, but what a great season this has been. What a great 14 years we've had with the Rolex Sports Car Series. It's been fantastic for everybody that's been involved with it. Calvin Fish, Dorsey Schrader, Chris Neville, Bob Varsha, Darren Law, Greg Kramer, Jamie Howe, Justin Bell, Tommy Kendall, and everybody that's ever worked a Rolex Sports Car Series race. Everyone in the production truck, we've enjoyed it. We've made history. It's been a wild ride. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Till. We'll see you in 2014 for the Tudor United Sports Car.